My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. It is currently Monday, August 5th, 2024. This is documentation of federal group stalking and monitoring. This is state surveillance that the state of California is engaging in. It's a criminal system designed to keep an American citizen under surveillance, and the means of surveillance, the methods whereby an American citizen is kept under surveillance is not only criminal, it's not only unconstitutional, it's not only unprecedented, it's demonic, which is relevant for a federal prosecution by the state of California for terrorism on two profound bases. First of all, that the government is engaging in criminal surveillance, and second of all, that the government is practicing demonic activity while keeping an American citizen under surveillance. And all of this is supported by evidence, tangible evidence, that is demonic in nature, but that which is under no circumstances merely spiritual, such that no federal tribunal will reasonably disregard any of it, because you can see all of the evidence, and it is profound. It is also scientifically relevant, and it's also simultaneously exposing the condition of corrupt leaders who are also to be removed just as a matter of justice, just as a consequence of what's being exposed about them while this criminal system is underway. Nor can any leaders, these corrupt leaders, reasonably contend that they're ignorant about the criminal conduct that the state is engaging in. It's a pattern of conduct. That means I can go to any city, any location, and I'm showing you the scientific impossibility that it's the natural environment. It's impossible what you're seeing in the environment around me. And then you have the impossibility regarding the behaviors of the population, the people of the state, as they're referred to, third parties. And then you are aware of the identical pattern of conduct by the government itself, the means whereby they practice federal group stalking and monitoring, and they are in methods that are inherently designed to terrorize an American citizen. And this is based on their condition. Their criminal engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring is exclusively based on the fact that they are demon-possessed, as I have contended from the beginning. The P.O.C. is the evidence that is supporting it beyond a reasonable doubt, and that is securing a federal prosecution. And that is also establishing precedent for American citizens in this country to enforce their rights against the state, any state that's engaging in the system. License plate 8HYN770. This is the demon seen pacing with a dog. She's in group stalking in the parking lot in her outside of her trunk, which is the means of engaging in surveillance. This is a mental illness that's exposed when the people of the state are engaging in their demonic methods of stalking, their passive aggressive methods of stalking. But then you're understanding what is on its surface, because it's only deemed passive aggressive when you're only isolating the pattern of conduct of the people. There's nothing passive aggressive about the fake sun and the engineered light and the amplification, the stalking by the state. Then you are reassessing what the people of the state engage in, and it's not passive aggressive at all, and it's highly psychotic. That's a threat to your life while the people of the state are obsessively stalking you, and their ongoing purpose is to look like they're doing something else while they're in the specific environment with the state, in the demonic environment, okay? That is keeping you under surveillance. So this is documentation of the people of the state, captured many, many images. I want to make sure that so this documentation is going to be both the podcast and also the still images. Is currently, again, 9:51 a.m. So this is speaking to everything documented this morning and upon my departure. That's making up my end, because the federal government this is evidence that will supplement what the federal government has. Okay, well beyond what I have as one person. Okay, but one person with regard to what is mighty evidence, speaking to a an unprecedented criminal act that I'm subject to. And it's also just enabling other American citizens to enforce their rights based on what the government is actually doing. It is not a fallacy. And the P.O.C. is enabling other people in the country to enforce their rights, where you're subject to the same terrorism. License NKV024, that's Iowa. License 9LBP232, and this is a demon that is pacing out of his room. He's continuously going up and down the stairs, group stalking me, even to the moment that they're checking out, which is what they're all doing. They're all doing that, but I want to specifically document this demon using his means of checking out as the means whereby they're pacing in order to keep me under surveillance, even out. Ooh, an engineered light. They're going to federal prison anyway. 9LBP232. They earn every minute that they're getting in federal prison. They earn it every single minute. A white woman is driving that vehicle and the male gets in the passenger side. Terrorism via directed light all across the building. That's a psychopath that's loose. They go right out into the population. That's a sex offender. They engage in criminal surveillance with the government, conspiring to murder and kidnap people, and they go right out and they're free. That's speaking to the threat that are the people of the state. The demon possessed that do not currently have criminal records. Their mental illness is currently closeted, and they go right back out and they're around children. They're around other people. They're a threat to themselves and everyone else. Those third parties are going to federal prison. That's what's loose right now. That's exactly what's going to be put in federal court, and they're going to federal prison. That's lawlessness, impunity till the very second that they left my presence, group stalking. So let me get the fake sun also while that demon drove off. The fake sun moves from the front door of my hotel room. Remember, it's not until after 5 p.m. where you see the fake sun directly over the top of my head. 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock, 4 hours later, the fake sun is still at the property and still over the top of my head. Not now. At 9:53 a.m., the fake sun's over the opposite side. That's going well beyond over my hotel room in order that it's not in front of my front door of hotel room number 130. And that's because I have moved. That's where this demon is driving off, parked in front of rooms 116, 116, and 115, and then driving off, terrorizing with directed light, moving all across the hotel like you've seen Universal Waste doing while they are driving off of the property. That's exactly what those demons just did. And those demons do so to their own demise, because you already know exactly what it is that I'm describing. That's exactly what they did, and this is what the demons do while they also know that they're being documented. I want to show you the fake sun also, because those third parties are going to federal prison. They're not going anywhere. They're going to federal prison like they're listening to me tell them. It's 9:54 a.m. All right, I am capturing the fake sun. That is the direct evidence of what everybody is engaging in, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. And these are the demon-possessed, the people of the state that are engaging in criminal surveillance in an American way, which is sad to say, an American way where, and what I want to say is this is antithetical to the American way, but the ways in which the American way, I put that in air quotes, is being imitated, the ways in which it's being exploited, checking into hotel rooms to keep an American citizen under surveillance. And you're going to federal prison for that, and there's no detail about it. That's a mystery. What you're doing, where you're doing it, who you are while it's underway, and who you're doing it in concert with, and that's the state of California, and you're going to federal prison. All right, so license 9HUM802, the fake sun is right over me, and I am on the opposite side of my hotel room, and this is directly conflicted with what the entity did yesterday. You already know that it's not the sun, and this is what the entity did. As I stayed inside of the hotel room, it stayed right there facing my front door at the top of my head around 1 o'clock, and then after 5 p.m. it's still at the same address, which means that wasn't the sun, which you already know. This is the ability to prosecute everybody. That's not the sun that the demons of the Montclair Police Department were stalking. That's where you're identifying stalking in a helicopter, which terrorist organizations are abusing their positions, thinking that they're, first of all, free to do that, and no one's going to question them, and no one's going to know that they're demons who are stalking and terrorizing a very specific person, and who they're doing it with. They're doing it with everybody in that same specific environment. The whole system is fully exposed. And that fake sun was not over the Montclair Nissan auto plaza like it was when I was getting my car repaired. It was getting attention because there's nothing wrong with my car, but when I was getting its service, the fake sun is over Motel 6 in Arcadia. Okay, 9JLY661 5Y UK. This is a Latina female. She's going to be deported. She's not an American citizen. 5YUH585. Okay, directed light. This is the boldness with which this is speaking to the mental illness, okay? Because people that are deported in this country, people that are relying on their citizenship papers, they're relying on their job that they have in this country. Let me be clear. Their mental illness, which is no legal defense, they know exactly what they're doing. But I want to be clear, this darkness this demon possession. Satan hates them so much that they are in every regard abandoning what is in their own best interest in order to stalk somebody that they don't even know. You know who's obsessed with me? The demon that's on them. And so you're crossing paths knowing very well that staying in America is something that you're relying on. And you know whose problem it's not? It's not the concern of the federal court. When you're in violation of federal laws, they're going to mete out justice. You will be deported out of this country. And it's showing the mental illness by those who engage in such conduct. She's terrorizing with directed light. If she's not a natural born citizen, she's going to be deported. And that's showing the mental illness, because many of them are relying on being in this country. Oh, everybody's going to federal prison. The states, you already know the demons of Arcadia and Monrovia police crossing path. They're all going to federal prison already, but I'm going to read these license plates. And again, the one that I'm also documenting, if she's not a natural born citizen, they act to their own detriment. You're not even getting away with anything. And you know that you're being documented. Your secret is out. The fact that you're a demon, the fact that you're secretly trying to stalk somebody, the fact that you're engaging in malicious methods of surveilling. If you don't know the definition of surveillance, okay, you're an unofficial Secret Service agent. Okay, for unintelligent terrorist organizations who don't even require a college degree to be affiliated with a so-called law enforcement agency. They're just stalkers and they're demon possessed. They're psychopaths. And they act to their own demise. And it is justice that you lose your citizenship, your naturalization. You're that desperate. Not only do you need deliverance, you clearly need deliverance because you have lost all ability to provide for yourself in this country, because you're out. You are out of this country. Mark my words. 7 LUT 951. And everybody, remember, this is just presence in the parking lot, because everybody that's checking in, everybody that's on surveillance cameras, everyone that is using the key cards. There are multiple means of identifying the entity. And so this is what the entities faced with when they're engaging in the P.O.C. group stalking an American citizen. Let me get license CWW0307, and that is Arizona. And it is 9:59 a.m. And the fake sun remains over me while the demons of the Arcadia Police Department, I'm assuming that the terrorist organizations are not going across jurisdictional lines in order to group stalk, which is not outside of, they've done it, I've documented it before. But it's going on to the one, let me be clear, the jurisdiction that you're in, it's automatically going to be that terrorist organization. I'm in Arcadia. Arcadia police are which the feds are already aware of. They're group stalking whether or not some demon from some other jurisdiction is crossing path in Arcadia's lines of jurisdiction. 9BOR 847 MYV 5344 Texas 8HAX 093. All right, group stalking by the demon-possessed housekeeper. They like to beat on the walls while the engineer light is moving all across inside of my hotel room, thinking that you can terrorize someone on the go, okay? I'm taking a picture of a group stalker in front of room 103 and 104 and 105, and the fake sun is on the opposite side of the hotel, not seen outside of my front door like I was capturing yesterday where the fake sun was rising at 7:47. It was still there at 9:46, 9:42, where criminal summoning was documented. The entity was keeping the fake sun, as I continuously showed, well until after 1 p.m. the fake sun remained on that specific side 130, which is not seen on the side of 103. If it's on the side facing 103, then I wouldn't be able to see it over my outside of my front door. Okay, and it's certainly no explanation at all when the fake sun's on the opposite side, and yet the entity that wants to claim that they're not demons wants to claim that they're not engaging in surveillance, which is which the engineer light is an integral aspect of that group stalking. While the fake sun's over here, there's no sunlight, which that's not, but there's no sunlight that's going to appear inside of my hotel, while the fake sun, the so-called sun, the alleged sun, is over the hotel facing 104, where this demon will claim that she's innocently cleaning a hotel room, which there is no basis. There's no constitutional protection for what is group stalking, period. It will be a prosecution on a strict liability basis based on what the government is doing with the people of the state and their engagement, the ease with which they engage in it. So you can claim all you want. You know what it is? It's an admission. Oh, so you were there at the ATM? Because that's all that we need to know. It's not based on, oh, I went, nobody cares. And that's not legally relevant. You're threatening the life, conspiring to murder and kidnap someone else while you engage in the state's pattern of conduct. And the population has already shown that they are fully engaged in a pattern of conduct. Okay, 9JLX 957 RILECO. And the demons are pacing on Colorado Place. And you already know that because the fake sun leaves as I leave today. So that's demonic pacing on Colorado. That's the population that's group stalking on the 710 freeway while I'm crossing Forest Lawn on the freeway, passing by the third-party facilitating venue of ABC Channel 7. The fake sun is over me. Okay, Channel 7, there are a bunch of minions reporting the news to you. License DD81W32. That's how you get that. Okay, a grand departure. It's not going to be anywhere near ABC 7 off of the Forest Lawn exit, while I am there in the middle of the afternoon and remaining over in Arcadia, directly over the over my hotel room, over my vehicle. That's how you get that. That's why it's nowhere near Alvarado Gardens. That's why it's nowhere near the Ovid Family Community Library. That's why there was no sunrise over the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. All right, there's no sunlight over 1826 Lobdell Place, which they would like to claim again. Oh, that's sunlight. That's not engineered light. That's a natural occurrence while people drive by their facilitating venue. And engineered light shoots like some sort of rocket launcher. Light is shooting across their green wooden ashy gate. Okay, that's an impossible occurrence while they're facilitating the environment, and the sun is over Arcadia. So what is that over you while I'm in relevant position to you? What is it that you're doing? It's legally relevant. You don't have a constitutional protection. You don't have a prayer, and the government that's providing evidence against you can't help you or itself. I will be prosecuting you, and there are thousands of people who are going to be prosecuted because there are thousands of people that are keeping me under surveillance. Okay, so justice will be commensurate with the threat, with the crime. And that's just a part of what federal group stalking and monitoring is. It's 10:03 a.m. This is P.O.C. Many of the images are capturing the license plates. So that's a part of what I'm capturing right now on podcast. And I'm isolating it to the venue where I was located, which is Motel 6 at 225 Colorado Place in Arcadia. There's no sun over Sherman Oaks at Courtyard by Marriott. Obviously, there's no sun over Alvarado Gardens, not outside of my leasing office where LAPD were stalking in helicopters. That's terrorism by a government with a people who are engaging in obstruction of justice. As I'm documented, Precious Bastille, she's going to federal prison. She's never getting her kids back. Never. Okay, license plate 7 KL 362, I believe, crossing paths in the parking lot, doing so obsessively group stalking till the end, walking right into a federal charge, series of them, criminal surveillance and federal stalking. This is what the foolish demon-possessed entity engage in, and this is why they need deliverance, because that the demons that are on them are causing them to abandon all manner of how they're going to provide for themselves. You're going to federal prison. You're going to lose your children. You're going to get an extensive criminal record. You're going to be deported if you're not even a natural-born citizen. You will be identified as a domestic terrorist. There are reverberating consequences, and the demon-possessed population, they run right into it. When I say 350 miles per hour, jumping head first off of the precipice, that's exactly what they continue to do, because that's exactly what's happening, and they keep doing it. That's revealing a mental illness as well. And this is going to be that which is clinically diagnosable. It's referred to in the secular by many titles, but it needs to be known what this is. This is demonic. And so the things that are not being addressed in the so-called mental illness arena amongst the mental illness, therapy and psychiatrists and whatnot, they're not addressing the spiritual condition of those whom they are diagnosing, and their medication, their prescriptions do not touch on that issue. And this is something that can't be disregarded. Okay, so you are mindful of what is really the foundational issue with people behind the issues and the decisions and the emotional complexes that they attain. And much of it is based on their need for deliverance. But there's no legal protection. You don't have any legal argument. Oh, I don't know. No, that's not that type of mental illness here. You knew exactly what you were doing, and you foolishly walked into that federal prosecution while you are conspiring to murder and kidnap somebody with the government. Oh, you're losing everything. And that's just a matter of justice, and you did it to yourself. So the targeted individual is going to be provided with justice, and that is like just approaching it. That's just the least that the federal government can aid in with regard to the recovery where a government is keeping an American citizen under surveillance. This is basic. This logically follows. Okay, this is natural. All right. It's currently 10:06 a.m. This is P.O.C. The demons of the corrupt terrorist organization that is group stalking while the fake sun is over U.S.C. medicine, that's a group stalker. They're terrorists. They're engaged in group stalking, and that's the practice of medicine where the demon-possessed, where the closeted sex offender, where the closeted psychopath, where the corrupt actor is practicing medicine, okay? They're group stalking in concert with the state, okay? License 7SSF 815 9GTZ489 and 7XRM594. That's federal prison. They're pacing all around me while the fake sun is not remaining over, the sun is not remaining over Motel 6. That's not the sun, that's the light source. While the light source remains over me, it shows you all of whom are engaging in that pattern of conduct. And they call themselves engaged in the practice of medicine. U.S.C, the practice of medicine, you will see the fake sun right over me at that building. Right over me. And you know who's crossing path? The demon-possessed Arcadia police, who are aware of what I'm capturing. They're stalking at every corner, ready to cross path at every moment based on what it is that I'm getting, so they will engage in the crossing of path conduct. But everybody goes to federal prison around me as I document them. And that's exactly what I'm capturing. Those license plates, they're all going to federal prison. And I'm letting you know, PSA, U.S.C medicine, there's nothing noble going on there. You have a bunch of corrupt actors. They're in the practice of medicine. They're the same condition. The same exact condition, the same obsession, the same demon possession is underway, and they practice medicine. There's no exception. The fake sun is over that venue while I'm driving past it. It's letting you know about the contents of what's inside of that building. There's no respecter of persons. Engineer light traveling in front of a truck crossing path. These are demons. License plate 7MAT082 crossing path. License 7PPW 986-51067U2. It is currently 10:12 a.m. Pay attention to the still images. It is for your information. You learn a lot, okay? How Satan is using any and every one, and that's just the reality. That's just the reality. It's just the reality. And Satan has people, as I'm showing, public corruption. Satan has people in position, in strategic positions in government in the state of California and in the medical profession, talking about what's going on with said disease and what needs to happen and what you need to take, what you need to put in your body. Okay. What's the current landscape of things? It's coming out of with a grain of salt. Okay, you need to have your own relationship with the Lord Jesus. I'm not talking about the fact that medicine doesn't serve any purposes whatsoever, but what I'm stating is those that are in the medical profession, they are not serving for the good of mankind. In California, they serve Satan, and understand that takes precedent over the good of human beings. Satan hates people. Satan uses people in order to harm other people, and he's harming those that are demon possessed. He hates them too. Understand that they're just, like I said, they're being used as prostitutes, as whores. They are literally vessels filled with his spirit. They do the bidding of Satan. Satan is designed to lose. Satan is designed to lose. It's inevitable. It's written in the scriptures. Okay? He is a defeated entity. So anyway, it's currently 10:14 a.m. The fake sun remains over me as I'm leaving Motel 6 of Arcadia. That's how you know what everybody was doing the entire time, and you also know their condition. That property, they're going to federal prison. The employees are group stalking. The sitting at the desk, they're group stalking. They're all engaged in federal stalking. And you're looking at what is going on at Alvarado Gardens based on the evidence. Then what was that? What's going on, as I documented at the Ovid Family Community Library during this time when I'm at the library at the same time of year? What's going on when I'm at the Ontario Police Department? What is that? It's the P.O.C. It's the P.O.C. Police departments that are demon possessed, and they're documented stalkers. They're documented that's terrorists. You're not just a stalker, you're a terrorist when you're stalking as a police department. You are not even engaged in that which you're supposed to be engaging and focused on what you're supposed to be doing. You're maliciously engaging in terrorizing people and wanting to outwardly conduct yourself as though you are engaged in serving and protecting the public. No, you're serving Satan and seeking to protect your image. Okay, so you're going to be disbanded. You're going to be prosecuted as terrorists from the top all the way down. There's no anonymity. The chief of police, you can Google it. You are aware of their condition. You know exactly what they're engaging in. And this is by provision of the P.O.C. It is currently 10:15 a.m. and it is, again, Monday, August 5th, 2024. All right, this is P.O.C. All right, license plate 9JLP067, 8RUJ754, 8NOV797, 757, 82S3 at Magnolia and Huntington. Ooh, shoot, sorry. License, they're monitoring, but that's fine. They're aware of me stalking in the path with light activity, 9HZW644. Alrighty, capturing, this is criminal facilitation. This is what the people are always doing on the sides of the freeways with their hazard lights on. They'll add a tow truck. They'll add even the state. Okay, traffic stop, CHP, whatever it is that it's light activity and relevant positioning, just adding light activity along the side of the road. That's openly engaging in surveillance and facilitation. The fake sign is over me and I'm capturing the people of the state group stalking. And then the demons want to cover up their face when they're engaging in shameful conduct. License. 1455250, that's the state and a California exempt plate. Crossing path with light activity. So this is the same thing in a dumpster truck, all right? License 40693Z2. That is OFRS, Demolition, Remediation, and Environmental Services. License number 994684 slash HAZ slash C21. And the California number is 492280. They are engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. And the outward guise is that they're cleaning the sides of the roads. The fake sun is over me while they are using their commercial vehicles as light activity. They're enabling the government. This is the population that maintains the elements of monitoring while traveling. Go ahead. Oh, chasing me down. Let me get this license plate again. 9HZW644. That's P.O.C. Let me get the fake sun. Let me turn around. That's a threat to your life while they're group stalking. Hold on. Let me document this. Okay, just want to document, I'm getting the third party with the license plate engaging in surveillance. The entity openly engages in surveillance. You're training your eyes to recognize the specific environment and then the facilitating conduct. The third party chases me down. That's a threat to your life. Remember, they represent the state. And they act with the state, whom they engage in criminal summoning with, while they're engaging in criminal conduct. And this third party, who is a demon-possessed sex offender, psychopath, stalker, okay, engaging in demonic behaviors, which is terrorizing on its face. Nobody's ignorant about what you're looking at anymore. And then a hostile criminal is chasing you down the street. The target individual is in every regard enforcing their rights to document 9KMR041 and chasing me down the street, knowing exactly what street I turned down. And you know how you know it's not because she watched me. It's because the fake sun is right over me while she's chasing me down. I'm capturing what is a threat to my life. She's going to federal prison. That's what I'm speaking to. So she's going to federal prison for, that's the government that is harassing you. That's hostile to being exposed. The people of the state are in no position as private citizens. They're engaging in state surveillance with the state. Okay, the state that is engaging in stalking directly as Arcadia police have already demonstrated crossing path. And the fake sun is not remaining over any Motel 6 in Arcadia at Columbia Place. The fake sun is remaining over me, and a demon is chasing me down. She's going to federal prison for that. Okay, so I just want to be clear. You are in every regard empowering the targeted individual, and you are disarming the government that's acting through the population. You are disarming them. Okay, so you are not free. First of all, you're not even free to be parked on the side of the road, let alone then chasing down. Who would chase down, because this is what you're doing, who would chase down the prosecutor who's presenting the case before? Would you cuss at the prosecutor? Would you threaten? Unless you're engaging in trying to murder the prosecutor. And let me be clear, that's what federal group stalking and monitoring is when documentation is underway. That's what they're doing. They're conspiring to murder the prosecutor, the federal prosecutor. They're seeking to obstruct justice. That's essentially what they're doing. But with regard to the treatment of the target individual, this is analogous to what they're doing when you would not treat a federal investigator this way, because this is the respect that they're going to learn. They're going to appreciate it. They don't have it right now. They're still operating. This is the rebellion of Satan. And this is no longer permitted. And there are laws that you're going to be bound by. And that's from the state acting directly all the way down to the people. So what they're engaging in as a population, it's no longer permissible and no longer a secret. So you are openly engaging in and literally volunteering yourself for an additional 5 years of federal prison, for example, while you engage in chasing down an American citizen that you're keeping under surveillance. And the fact that you're doing that is not a secret at all. Okay, so in the same way that you would not engage in treating a federal investigator as though there's some little pipsqueak that I don't know who you have this confused with, but you're going to federal prison when you engage in that. And that's what the entity is doing right now. And it's not based on the fact that some demon-possessed group stalking a state actor that's driving a police vehicle doesn't want to respect the fact that they are under federal investigation. It's not based on whether you want to acknowledge that or not. You are, and your whole department is based on your criminal conduct, your foolishness. And I want to be clear that foolishness is providence. It's providence for me, because the feds need to know what these state actors are engaging in. 7KCE176, 5GEU929, 9HUBB848, I believe, substantially similar. These demons are pacing in relevant position while they're hostile, listening to me speak to the fact and the laws that they're going to be subject to. Engaging in terrorism, license 8ZAD297. That's a target individual going into Skyway 149. I'm on, what street is this? I'm going into a plaza, and I'm still in Arcadia, but this is the street. Let me document. They're turning into a venue. I'm at First Street, the nearest intersection being First, and it appears as though it is First and Doherty. License 76418F1, 6F08885, because they're all monitoring and group stalking and harassing together as an entity. A bunch of demons following me around, which you know how population is stalking because the demonic environment follows me. So does the population. Different face, same exact demon possession, same exact demonic behavior. And that is what's chasing you down a side street. That the criminal is chasing down the victim whom they're engaging. You're going to federal prison. I just want to make sure you understand that picture. And I just captured it in images. And that third party in particular is going to federal prison. But that's the criminal conduct. That's the criminal act by the whole entity. That's inherently hostile to the fact that they are going to be prosecuted and exposed for the criminal system that they seek to engage in while they literally bow down to Satan in the state of California. A demon-possessed population. A demon-possessed population that's engaging in the secret system in California, and they're hostile to it. They are hostile. Your hostility, the fact that you don't like it, is totally irrelevant. And all the ways in which the entity wants to resist it, it's just speaking to the intensification for what shall be like default standard modes of prosecuting federal group stalking and monitoring, because the federal government will understand the severity of the system, the severity of the threat that an American citizen has a right to not be subject to. That's what it's informing. It's informing federal policy. You are dealing with closeted psychopaths. License 8RYS412. It is currently, again, 10:26 a.m. Just wanted to document that. That's a threat to your life while the targeted individual is documenting what you're going to document the state. And any ordinary targeted individual is empowered to do so. And you're already subject to a threat to your life. So any threat that they are increasing while they are being documented, and you're documenting the government wants to hide amongst these demons with license plates on it. That's the same state. And you're surrounded by the specific environment, the evidence of it. All right. So only a foolish psychopath that's getting everybody else in trouble. You're going and robbing banks together. Everybody's getting the prosecution for everything that's reasonably related to the crime that you sought to engage in together as one. Everyone's going to be prosecuted for that. That specific third party is going to federal prison for it. And that's how you prosecute federal group stalking and monitoring. License 7KCE176 are still group stalking. 6F08885 are still group stalking. I'm at Lavelle. And the entity is engaging in what is demonic pacing. And they're all listening. This is the reality of what Satan is doing. They're listening to the laws as they're being created. They're listening to the punishments as they're being formed based on their criminal conduct of what they engage in as they engage in it. And the entity is engaging in that which is necessary. It needs to be commensurate with the threat that they pose, literally by their existence, while they're masquerading as free citizens, and you're not. You're not free to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring with the state. All right. License 7YYT897. All right, it is currently, again, 7MOS 444. It's currently 10:28 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 6U63824 9EXR797 8R87965 8MVC 446. And it's currently 10:33 a.m. I am at Huntington Drive. It's so funny when they're terrorizing with directed light, but once they know, I start recording those license plates, and this is sad because when you're being prosecuted, this is sad. License 8UGH592, this is sad. It's very sad. 8TGS529. It's currently 10:34 a.m. All right, it is currently 11:18. You will see a federal group stalking and monitoring underway by the corrupt and demon-possessed documented kidnapper Rialto Police Department, who's crossing path at Ayala and Bonnard. Going to federal prison is 5MVS234. They're group stalking with a state. They are going to federal prison for that. The fake sun is over me in what is Rialto, California, and the entity is very aware of where I'm going. They're very aware of the direction that I'm headed, and this is what the state does, and everyone around goes to federal prison for what the state does directly. They're already headed to federal prison based on the facts and circumstances of what the state does vicariously. Going to federal prison as well, stalking behind me in traffic while the state crosses path in a police vehicle. License 7JA88A. That's an Arizona plate. 7 Jack Apple 88 Apple. P.O.C. It's currently 11:19 a.m. Again, that's at I.I.S, where the state is acting directly, and this is where the Rialto Police with Sunrise Church were a facilitating venue, not a legitimate church, not the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. It's a religious organization, and they were heavily engaged in group stalking with that same facilitating actor, the state, the Rialto Police Department. I'm going to document the people of the state. License 9FPK599. License 7HLC353, 8BCP216, 8FQR658, 9MEW994, 7XLD740, 8FRY906, 8XRG280, 7VQP090, 6BR506. Hold on, let me take a picture in case I can't see that accurately. The fake sun is over me at a purported church. This is not the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. This is the presence of Satan. The ability to recognize Satan's minions, calling themselves believers of the Lord Jesus Christ. It's nothing other than audible activity while they stand on the stage and speaking about the Bible, the scriptures, speaking about with light activity, singing songs about the Lord Jesus Christ. It's monitoring. License 6YWG280 is crossing path. Group stalking me outside of the gates of the church. This is not the legitimate church. Okay, that's why Satan's demonic imitation of an environment is right over my head at this venue. This is called relevant positioning. And this Sunrise Church, this religious organization, is a violent sex offender, the closeted sex offender, hiding behind the scripture while they're monitoring, engaging in terrorism, group stalking, serving Satan, and talking about they're serving the Lord. Okay, there's a special place in hell for demons like that. 8894161. Crossing path license plate. Let me get the rest of these. Oh, it's going to capture an image. 1 second. Alrighty, as far as I can see, I did capture still image. This is at third-party facilitating venue, Sunrise Church, not to be mistaken with the actual Church of the Lord Jesus Christ. 6RBB506, substantially similar. I took a picture. This is a Hyundai that's parked at the facilitating venue. 7MVW668, 9BNR536. Matter of fact, let me go right on inside. We've got another gate that is open. I'm going to document them and go closer, and I can get the accurate plate. Let me capture the facilitating video. Alrighty, capturing documentation of the specific environment, the pattern of conduct at a religious organization that refers to itself as the church. Again, as scripture refers to the truth being that you know them by their deeds, and that's not based on what it is, where they congregate, no matter how frequently they congregate. Sunrise Church is a facilitating venue where I have documented the entity engaging in the P.O.C. Literally, the podcast is audible activity creation, relevant positioning, and light activity. The capturing the podcast, Sunrise Church and Gregory Hooper are group stalking as I'm capturing, as I'm documenting my confrontation based on what scripture requires, as I'm confronting one that calls themselves a Christian. And that not only is it speaking to those who are false pseudo-Christians, non-believers who are hiding themselves amongst the brethren. And what I'm also exposing is not only are they false, but they are criminals. And I'm documenting the pattern of conduct. And I'm going to a familiar venue where for years this criminal system was underway under the false teacher, the false prophet, Jay Pankratz, and the leadership, many of whom are already published onto my the Google Drive, and the specific environment as I am here today, juxtaposing it with what's going on in Sherman Oaks, what's going on in Costa Mesa, what's going on at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, where at no point I never even left the property and the sun was rising and setting. That's the specific environment, and it does not change because the people of the state want to call themselves Christians. You do not know them by what it is that they're stating out of their mouths, okay? Holding hands and praying in the name of Jesus does not make a genuine believer. No genuine believer, no born-again Christian, no Holy Spirit-filled child of God is group stalking. It's demonic activity. It's targeting. It's targeting one that's filled with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is not targeting the Holy Spirit. Okay, understand what's going on here. So I'm documenting. I'm going to digress there. I am documenting criminal activity at Sunrise Church right now. License plate 8YFZ996. 8MQA 211, and they're all engaged in federal stalking. CLRSHFT 9BNR 536 7MVW 668. This is the correct license plate. 6RBR 506 7VQP 090 8XRG280 8FRY 906 7XLD 740 9MEW 994. License 9FPK 599 8BCP 216 7HLC 353 9HBC 513. Many of these I already stated. Let me get this third party that's crossing path in the parking lot real quick. Monitoring on the grounds of the church. License 8N. I'm sorry. Satan is hilarious to me while they 8NMC765. This is sad. Driving in circles. That's a demon that's pacing. That's what the demons do in helicopter. Monitoring on the grounds of the alleged church, by the way. 8FQR658 is the license plate. Many of these, like I was stating, I've already read them. I'm on the grounds of the property, able to see them closer. 8GEB063, 6RIL758. And there's a license plate over here. It's 9DAK103. That's a demon on the grounds of a church, crossing path, group stalking. Demons are engaging in the elements monitoring. Demons. Stepping into the building where they call themselves a church, it doesn't change that. License 9MWH480. It's currently 11:30 a.m. where a fake sun remains over my head at third-party facilitating venue, Sunrise Church. License 6UMP569, 8XCW385, 6WZC159, 8PTF995. WJC Trap Elementary School. They're engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring while in custody of minor children. The children are a means of criminal presence while the state engages in the P.O.C. They're engaged in federal stalking as well. Those are demons who are in custody and working around children, and that needs to be addressed. WJC Trap is adjacent. They're group stalking right now. 9A0A069, and they have been for years. They've been beside a Sunrise Church as I was here congregating with the demon possessed. Ignorant about their condition, ignorant about this criminal system that I was subject to, the sexual violence that they're engaged in while you're subject to surveillance and federal stalking, and then actually being subject to sexual violence as the state recognizes it under existing laws, because molesting my person by so-called alleged leaders, 9LIA282, and the entity did that again while I was at the beginning stages of documenting again. 9CDR760 at the beginning stages of documenting not the statewide pattern of conduct. The picture had not gotten that great yet. Stage by stage, I was understanding what I was subject to, and then the picture got greater, and then the picture became greater, and the picture became greater and greater as I moved out of San Bernardino County, as I went to Los Angeles County, as I recognized the same pattern of conduct, and I'm recognizing there's a whole environment that physically surrounds me while I'm witnessing and observing these behaviors that are demonic, which I already knew, but again, as an attorney, understanding how to prosecute, you have to prove it. And so this is what I'm becoming aware of, and it starts here. This is where it starts. The people of the state, where you worship, where you go to school, where you live, where you shop, okay, wherever it is that you're traveling, and the fake sun is literally over me at Sunrise Church. How do you reconcile this with being over my head at Alvarado Gardens? You can't. You cannot. This is how you know what every single third party is doing. What UPS, Amazon Prime, the United States Postal Service, the entire property of us, Silverview Townhomes. What is over my head when I walk next door to their apartments? What's over the property all day long while they're driving in and out of their property? That's the convenience with which the people of the state are keeping you under surveillance and exposing massive demon possession. Only demons are group stalking. Only. Okay? License 9HNP736 5UEG005. This is demonic pacing on the grounds of a church, 8NMC765. License 9KZJ262, 8YHJ690, 8LSX701, 8XXD269, and as I already read, 9DAK103. License 8GQY371. License 8WOG107 42756Z3. All right, license plate, molesting with engineered light. These are the demon possessed at the ARCO at 21229M. Alrighty, documenting the pattern of conduct that the people of the state are engaging in, the ongoing sex offense of a demonic nature, while the fake son is over the ARCO in Rialto, 94058K1. They're on surveillance cameras inside of the ARCO. They're pacing in and out, and they're engaging in payment both at the gas stalls and on the inside of the ARCO. They're engaging in sex offense of a demonic nature, a molestation, while they're group stalking, state surveillance, and federal stalking. License plate, Legacy Power, a commercial actor, license U255RC. That's an out-of-state plate. Again, license 9MRP073. If they're not a natural born, they're going to be deported. 44632U3. License 9KWH724 7SOE 897 6J43077. License 7YAN372. License Engineer Light across the roof on the inside. This is terrorism. BKRN35. That's a black license plate. 8BVM276. 5LAU394. Pepsi is here, group stalking. I'll get the commercial. That's a commercial actor. They're creating light activity, and they're engaging in a delivery. This is where the entity is group stalking with engineer light, license, demonic pacing. I'm gonna get all of them. They're group stalking together. License plate. This is the demon 9FUF722. This is the demon license plate 7X27328. License 8DBD406. License. Oh, this is U.S. government G410234X in a white van with a federal plate on it. License 23625A4. License with engineer light all over underneath. This is a black-faced minion. This is a black woman with minor children. This demon, she's a sex offender. SHP2173 with a Texas plate. Engaging in terrorism on the run, sexual violence, and harassment as a demon-possessed entity, group stalking. License 8ESB022, 8MMG817, 9EJM818. This is providing context as to what they're doing. It's not traffic going in payment. They're pacing all around. License 7SOE897, and pacing is license 8ESB022. It is currently, by the way, 11:51 a.m. where the fake son is over me. I'm going to get that address of ARCO because I'm also going to prosecute ARCO. ARCO is a heavily documented group stalker. The fake son is supposedly over ARCO on Euclid Avenue in Upland, California. Where the entity is engaged in the same P.O.C. This is understanding how commercial actors are engaging in state surveillance. You have ARCOs all over the state, in other words, who are engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. I'm going to drain the pockets of ARCO that's practicing federal group stalking and monitoring with the population, providing a facilitating venue. They are group stalking while they work at the venue and while they are providing a crime scene for the people of the state to engage in it. Literally coming to the venue, making a purchase so that they can engage in crossing a path. 9CRE953. This is surrounding with commercial actors 7-Up and Pure Leaf, and they're using the large trucks as light activity, and the fake son is over the top of my head. I'm going to document this right now. Oh, and also California I.I.S company. They're surrounding the corners of the ARCO where the entity has the fake son over me. 9EJM818 again, crossing path. This is P.O.C. I'm going to capture this right now. 8PTH063. And it is currently 2:01 p.m. Documenting the terrorism via directed light by the demon-possessed population that is engaging in group stalking. That's what, when a population is keeping you under surveillance, they are stalking you from place to place while the population maintains criminal presence all around you. That is a recognition of what is the legally relevant conduct and presence that is in that specific environment, and it is on behalf of the government that is engaging in group stalking in the same exact demonic methods. And the sexual violence while the demon-possessed population stalk you, the sexual violence while they molest your person, while they terrorize you as you witness the engineered light. This is what the third party whose license plate I just documented is engaging in. And I also captured the people that stay on in video, all of whose license plate that will be prosecuted for criminal surveillance that's engaging in terrorism in the United States, and they're also going to be prosecuted for federal stalking, which is built into the criminal pattern of conduct, the demon-possessed population that is the state of California, that is keeping you under surveillance on behalf of a corrupt government. It is public corruption. They're doing so while they are also aware of the fact that it's being documented. This is a terrorist, a demon-possessed group stalker, and a sex offender. 7RDJ049. The entity engaged in another demonic orgy. Engineer Light is all over the building of Stater Brothers, which is incriminating Stater Brothers, by the way. And that's why the fake sun, which is not the natural environment, is over Stater Brothers. Stater Brothers, that is located in San Bernardino, California. Not the Stater Brothers heavily documented, by the way, in Ontario at the intersection of Hope Boulevard and San Antonio, which is already established that that was not the natural environment when I captured that evidence. The entity is engaging in state surveillance throughout the state of California. Stater Brothers is an illegitimate company. This is relevant for RICO charges. Crossing path is license plate 5FPZ801, and I'm going to prosecute Stater Brothers for the criminal conduct that they are facilitating, they are directly engaging in. They are opening their doors and engaging in and extending a place where this criminal system on behalf of the government can occur. So I'm going to prosecute them for the sexual violence that they are engaging in and that they are enabling all the other people of the state to do so. They're also engaging in what is harassment and terrorism as an entity, while they are hostile to the fact that their sexual violence and their criminal stalking is being exposed. That's what I captured on video in front of the venue of Stater Brothers in San Bernardino, California. License 8AJG707, 6WAL504, 9EVK959, DD25R78, that's a paper plate. License 94915D3, license 9JUD635, 8SFX409, terrorizing with directed light. That's impunity. That's going toward their federal prosecution, and the federal judge will ask about and will witness and listen to the evidence accumulated regarding their engagement in the pattern of conduct. And it is not passive, it's affirmative. License plate 51680E1, DH71F83, that's a paper plate. Engaging in the pattern of conduct, engaging in surveillance is 94915D3. I want to make sure I document that. Sitting in the parking lot in operation of a communication device with their headlights on, stalking in the path, which is what the population does. While you are going, for example, driving down the street, the demons who are aware of who you are and where you're going engage in surveillance by merely just sitting in their vehicle, parking their vehicle in a parking lot, okay? And doing so for purposes of crossing paths, stalking you unbeknownst to you. A whole population practices is they can go into the nearby Target again, on the surface going to make a purchase which they think is going to be an alibi, and it's an admission. 8LYH478, demonic pacing 6XOS810, 7GXC063, 58730R1. The entity doing so while they are capable of maintaining presence. Remember, it's beyond immediately in the same parking lot where I'm at. For example, they're stalking in the parking lot across the street from the laundromat where I'm at, where the engineer light is inside of that laundromat. 9ENG063 is across the street in the parking lot, keeping me under surveillance, stalking me, and molesting my body as well. You're going to be prosecuted as a sex offender. 9HDT948, engaging in any of the other elements of monitoring while I'm being molested with engineer light is engaging in a sex offense. The demons do not have any consent to touch your body while they're stalking you. You're touching my breast with engineer light. You're stalking in the path while my breasts are being molested with engineer light. You're going to be prosecuted as a sex offender that you are. Like any other stalker who has no consent to touch your breast with their natural hand or anything extending their person, the demons will not do so with their demonic methods of keeping you under surveillance and stalking you. 8WHY597, you will also be prosecuted as the sex offender that you are while it's occurring inside of your business establishment, which is a third-party facilitating venue. Thereby, you have stepped out of any constitutional protections whereby you are engaging in the provision of a platform, if online, or a facilitating venue, if in the natural, a place where this criminal system can occur. Maliciously so. You will be civilly and criminally prosecuted. 6MBF795, 8PCG538, 43774V3, 8CGU654, 49625A1, 7FBK084, 7BCY618, 8R00425, 8UIA135, 7ZQK638, 7CJL158, 9JHL995, 8UFV626, in case I didn't read that one. 9DZH074, 5SGH720, 9HPP289. Stalking in the path with the method of light activity, just sitting with their brakes on and their reverse lights on, and under the fake sun and engineered light with the light that's going all over the buildings while the demons are pacing around. 7DYX029 and 51680E1. License and Stater Brothers is engaged in all of this criminal conduct that I'm documenting. I'm going to drain their pockets. 7RDJ049. Stalking in the path with light activity with their hazards under the fake sun and engineered light. That's exactly what the demon in Los Angeles and Arcadia specifically was doing. And then that demon chased me down while you're engaging in criminal surveillance and federal stalking with the state. She's going to federal prison. Don't forget that. This is what she was doing. Criminal facilitation. DG30V22. Paper plate. And then you have this Latino male with spacers in his ears. Engineered light moves all across the vehicles. That's impunity. 9KNV346. The same conduct. That's a black face demon. Okay, and a Latino male. The demons aren't getting up and having a meeting together about how and when they're going to engage in the phenomenon of engineered light shooting off of your vehicle while you're driving by. This is a demon-possessed population who are stalking as a population together. The ability to engage in the same conduct, which is a supernatural occurrence, with regard to the supernatural environment that remains around me, a fake sun. 8UIA135 is crossing path again. This is speaking to what is a statewide system, and it's revealing what is statewide demon possession. Satan has a hold of millions of people. This is what the state of California is engaging in. License. Engaging in terrorism on the run. 11277V2. Pacing with this demon. 8D10 936. License plate. 7RZK512, 7WPV526, 7HUW943, 6EDA990, 9JHA133, 8R32198, 8ZEN968, 8MRD936, 9NCM386, 8TQG168, 92872G1, 9CDR539, 8RQD485, 8PRX675. This is an Arizona plate, VPA1TW. 7KIH347, 8XGR763, 9FAD442, 9HGR692, 9EXF625, 6NLV289, 6ZAW984, MIZLJC. Again, that's 6 characters. MIZLJC. 8VVY529. 35218F2, in case I didn't read that one. I believe I did, just making sure. I read that one already. 9EZK735 and... yeah, I believe I read these. 58730R1. I'm satisfied with that. This is most of the parking lot at Stater Brothers. Beyond Stater Brothers is engaging in surveillance. It's more than that. But I just captured another large pocket full of demons. Chase Bank is in the same parking lot. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Amazon Prime is group stalking in the parking lot. They were stalking in the path using their hazard lights. That's criminal facilitation. And this is how commercial businesses are engaging in state surveillance. That's exactly what Amazon Prime is actually engaging in, not the legitimate operation of a business. They happen to simultaneously make $1 off of American citizens whom they're keeping under surveillance, whom they're sexually violating, okay, terrorizing you, monitoring you. 7HNF119. That's what Amazon Prime and every other commercial actor are actually doing in this capitalistic society where there is an ongoing satanic surveillance state. It is currently, again, 2:10 p.m. I'm in San Bernardino, California, capturing the phenomenon. That which is not possibly the sun is directly over the top of my head, which is blowing the whistle on the entire population that surrounds me, which is speaking to exactly what I contended as I captured it on video, having the presence of mind to do so. Dominic Choi, Alan San Victoris, Dan Barnes, Ronald Lawrence. These are some, Karen Bass, these are some of the officials who are going to be removed from the positions that they currently hold because the state of California is engaging in state terrorism. This is the ability to capture what is absolutely impossible if it were not a supernatural occurrence. It's not naturally occurring. It's not possible that I can do that. And there is no witchcraft that I could engage in to make the fake sun remain over me. I don't practice witchcraft. Okay, I am a child of the Lord God. He is living, he is alive, he is on his throne, and he is the one that is revealing what Satan is doing right now. He is not pleased with this, and that's why he's judging it. He's exposing it and he's judging it, and they are going to face a prosecution in federal courts. They are going to federal prisons across this nation. They will walk away with criminal records that they will never be able to expunge. You will never be able to live it down. And that's based on the size of the crime that the government has been engaging in against innocent people for years. For years. Okay, it is currently, again, 2:11 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, molestation, terrorism via directed light. That is 9MFP. That's so sad. They try to speed off. 67156M2. 05384T2. Stalking on the path, creating light activity, that's criminal facilitation. And that's a very serious federal offense, enabling a whole population to group stalk more effectively while you stalk in the path with a manner of light activity. That's what these commercial actors engage in. License plate, molesting, terrorizing via directed light. 9MPM971. License plate 9GTV910. Understand what the entity is doing with directed light is something that 9GIV910. This is something that the entity engages in which could cause an accident. It's terrorizing, it's alarming, it's distracting, it's touching all over your person. The entity is engaged in an ongoing conspiracy to murder and kidnap, and then they're accosting you with this engineered light, which is inexplicable, reasonably disconcerting to the ordinary person. The entity is doing it by the thousands, over and over and over again, while I'm driving a car, while driving a vehicle. They're gonna be prosecuted. This is all the things that the entity is not even anticipating. You are going to get a very serious federal prosecution. 6ZYE379. And it's currently 2:15 p.m. in San Bernardino. This is P.O.C. 34408L3, I believe. It's essentially similar. BHOGAL, Bagal is molesting my breast, molesting my person with engineered light. Driving a large commercial truck. That's the logo on that truck. While the demon is operating a commercial vehicle, I will drain the pockets, and that driver is, the back license plate is Maine, the state Maine, C430336. That's a sex offender driving a truck, touching on a woman while being a demon-possessed stalker. Those are the likes that get hotel rooms all around me and stalk me all night at the facilitating venues as well, which is why those type of venues, they all go to federal prison. That's a threat to your life. Okay, and that's a sexually violent threat as well. License 6JVA940, 9BSD814, Nevada plate 1D5S41. It's currently 2:25. The fake sun is over me. While I'm en route toward Victorville on the 215, which is never going to be over Alvarado Gardens regarding the sun. That's how you know what they are. Also, I'm speaking to a molestation with engineer light. License plate roofing and construction, and the license plate is 14018M3. The phone number associated with this commercial actor whose pockets I'm going to drain. Lopez, I'm going to drain it. 760-669-2834. They're a sex offender. License 8WRN969. License plate 472ZU handicap. License plate 8SHJ255. License plate 5EEX771. They're all the same condition, one demon after another, touching all over my person while they're stalking. License 9LXC625. This is why federal group stalking and monitoring, a sex offense committed by an entity that's engaging in state terrorism, conspiring to murder and kidnap an American citizen. And you will be prosecuted and you will be published, maintained by the DOJ as a sex offender that you are. 8YIJ661, like any other sex offender on the Megan's list, except this is no ordinary sex offender. The state is a sex offender, and the state's acting through the sex offenders who are the people of the state. That's a very serious federal offense. You have hundreds of people walking into it every day. License plate, including their businesses that will be affiliated with that sexual violence, with that terrorism in the state. License 34616U3. License 6PGB454. 6YHS234. License 8CIB938. On the side of the road, group stalking, all the same. Yeah, that's an old white man with his hood up. That's supposed to be some sort of, it doesn't matter what your reason is for engaging in the conspiracy to murder and kidnap someone. 8JZB229. It's 2:27 p.m. License 9GDF728. That's Elite. That's the commercial actor on the side of this large truck. And the back license plate on this truck is 4SAM-TOM-9419. Yeah, Thomas Transport Incorporated. AX3 EGS, I believe. That's a Florida plate, substantially similar, on a white Sonata. License RTROSRF. You already know what FedEx is doing. FedEx is crossing path in a large commercial truck, which they also use their large commercial airline planes to terrorize and stalk American citizens. License plate, Indiana, PC25158. In case this is relevant, in order to specifically identify, the number on the back of the FedEx truck is FEDZ 569886. License plate 762P21. That's Nevada. License 212BBBR. That's BBB as in boy, 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 R. 061XKN. That is out of state. That's blue and yellow. I want to say is that Nevada? Yeah, I believe that's Nevada. It's 2:28 p.m. License plates. This is funny. A license 080924, which is supposed to be a date. That's what it looks like on this green Jeep. No license plate. Crossing paths with the people of the state, as the people of the state. That's criminal obstruction of justice when the entity engages in that. And that's all absorbed in the federal prosecution. License 8XZE319. License 8CEX683. 55451E2. An African American driving large commercial truck, large truck. The logo is Freight Sin Lines. Sin is spelled SENN Lines, and it's green. Newberry, South Carolina. The number is US.536920, and again driven by an African American male. The license is P776272. That's an out-of-state plate as well. That out-of-state plate. I can't see what state that is. That is an out-of-state plate. It's an all-white license plate, if that helps. License 9AGL476. 7AVFQ45. What is so spectacular about the state's pattern of conduct is all these people are aware of my destination based on my Google's destination, and they are filling spaces on the freeway, getting on with regard to group. This is literally what's actually going on, and it's they're all worthy of being documented for terrorism. While they provide, you cannot avoid being prosecuted because you're not group stalking in any secret, covert manner. The demon possessed are not yet at a position where they can walk around invisible, so that I can't see them. The entity's pattern of conduct is such that it's occurring in plain view, plain sight. It's right in front of you. All right, and that makes for a very, very straightforward prosecution. It's not straight with regard to the intensity. It's not going to be easy at all, but a straightforward, you know exactly who it is, you know exactly what they're doing, you know the malice that they act with. All right, and you also know their condition. They are demon possessed, which is going to be relevant for their prosecution. A whole bunch of demons who are stalking you, okay? That's terrorizing just with regard to the knowledge, okay? What the demon possessed behave like, the type of decisions that they make, the type of wickedness that they practice. All right, the absence of any logic or reason for what they do. They don't need one. They're wicked. They're demons. All right, license 8LKJ392, 8KEK453, 49595M3, 6EJN286, 1AXIU7U, excuse me, 1AXIU7U. That is also, I want to say Indiana, I believe. License 70-81429, license 8XGA888, 6KHD684, in case I did not read that one already. It is currently 2:32 p.m. Eight ZBD311. Again, 8ZBD311. Idaho 021LYZ 55451E2, 7UJF034. I believe I read these. 9MRC502, 9GTD155. Eight ZBD311. I know I read that one. Just crossing path again. License 9GSA886. 4NJ7616. That's on the back of a large truck. This is a commercial vehicle. 7AJP081. 8TJJ503. Nine AAJ332, 8LKJ392, 8SVF243, 49595. I read that one. That's San Manuel 1607 549. That's the state with light activity crossing path. That's criminal summoning. So 7PLM 646, 8LKJ 392, 6EJN 286, 8SVF 243, 17476E3, 9AAJ 332, and 7D 81429. That's federal prison. Everybody around me, surrounding all around me. And let me get the fake sun right now while the state is crossing by, engaging in criminal summoning using a fire truck. All right, capturing my corroborating evidence regarding what is criminal summoning, the state crossing path on the freeway in a fire truck with their lights on. They drove to my left, which was the far, I think that would be referred to as the far left lane, nearest the Meridian. And the fire truck drove along the edge. So they've got their lights on and they're speeding by. They're monitoring. They're monitoring with the state. So they're engaging in criminal facilitation. They are helping, in other words, the population keep me under surveillance. Remember, this criminal surveillance system is a conspiracy to murder and kidnap someone. So you have the state coming in and directly participating in it. Here you go. Here's some light activity. We're going to cross path so we can provide more enhanced level ability for all of you to in group stalk her together, for all of you to engage in federal stalking with this amongst all of them together while the fake sun is over me. That's a threat to your life. That is an unlawful threat. It will be met with federal prison while the state does that. The state does it over and over and over again. And the entity will learn every time you do that, you have a whole bunch of, like dominoes, they're going to federal prison. Everybody I documented right now. So as I documented the state, the license plates surrounding me, those third parties are going to federal prison. Okay, and that's how I'm going to isolate that, because I'm documenting, everyone that I'm documenting is going to be prosecuted for state terrorism and also for federal stalking, which is built into the state's pattern of conduct. They're doing both. Federal stalking is Title 18 criminal conduct. They're engaging in what is criminal activity, which is the conspiracy to murder somebody. You're going to be noted by the DOJ as a terrorist with the government conspiring to kill and kidnap people. That's going on your criminal record. You group stalk if you want to. It's currently 2:36 p.m. License plate 8CEX683, 9EUR233, 9ECJ208, 6FJN286, and this demon terrorizing with directed light, acting with impunity. That's relevant to federal prison. Light activity also. 7PLM646. The demon stalking with light activity, their license plate is 7SNJ838. That's criminal facilitation. That's a female sitting in her vehicle on the side of the road, engaging in criminal facilitation, letting all these thousands of people to better group stalk, better monitor, and better engage in federal stalking. That's relevant to her prosecution. That's also impunity and malice, relevant to her prosecution. Okay? That's what the state just did. They just did it in a fire truck. Okay? That's license plate. Hold on. 2:37 p.m. is where I'm documenting that. License plate 808517M, that's Texas. That's M as in Mary. 7MBF855. 8PDU158. And that's California. 38604R2. 332. Hold on one second. 33217H3. And they have the audacity to include on the back of their vehicle that they're affiliated with the military. I see Army, perhaps I even see Marines. This is a demon. They are no hero. This is the hypocrisy with regard to the demon possessed. There is a lot to question regarding what our country is actually engaging in, what they are doing to nations abroad, contrary to the propaganda that they're feeding us as American citizens. There's no hero that's engaging in un-American group stalking, criminal surveillance, and then you put on the back of your vehicle like it's some sort of badge, and it's totally irrelevant to your federal prosecution. Just want to point that out. But I will be prosecuting somebody that's claiming they're a part of the Army and or Marines. I have a lot of them on the record as well. That's speaking to what our country is actually engaged in, what they're actually practicing abroad with other countries as well. I just want to point that out because it's something that I learned as I exposed this, as I studied it, as I'm prosecuting it, and I'm seeing all of these superficial lines that we create as a society. And these are demons, first of all. Second of all, you're no hero, and you certainly are not exempt from the law, because it's even more egregious. It's more nauseating that you actually have, I guess you want to be looked at, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that you actually risked your life. Were you out there murdering people, taking other lives in the name of America? We're in this country. I'm an American citizen, and I'm subject to criminal surveillance by my own government, by the constituents who are supposed to be just like me, and they're not. They're targeting me. And that just because, remember, on an American basis, on the constitutional basis, apart from the fact that these are demons, you're understanding that this is an American society. We are both supposed to be mutually benefiting off of the constitutional provisions. They are, with hypocrisy, engaging in criminal activity that is un-American. Going to federal prison is license plate and a burgundy Chevy, touching on my crotch area, my thighs with engineer light, a Latino male, license 27387Y1. And these are the sexual violence that demons engage in because they know what I'm stating. And unfortunately, the demon-possessed lack self-control. So a demon-possessed person will get themselves readily escalated from being a documented terrorist to a sex offender who's going to federal prison. That's what 27387Y1 is going. They're going to federal prison. That's impunity. That's an intolerable level of facilitation. I'm driving a vehicle that is disconcerting. That's a risk to my life while you're already stalking me, which is a risk to my life, because this demon is engaging in criminal conduct in concert with the rest of the demons who call themselves veterans or heroes and whatnot. They're not. Okay? Sexual violence, 9AAJ332. P.O.C. is currently 2:40 p.m. All right, capturing so that you can see the faces of sex offenders. These are a car full of Caucasians who are engaging in sexual violence. A pack of demons touching all over my body together. License 9AAJ332 is who you'll see, and I captured screenshots so you can see the demon possessed up close. While they are focusing on the road, they're engaging in demonic methods of terrorism and sexual violence. While they're listening to me document another sex offender of the same condition. While they're all listening to me speak to the truth about the hypocrisy of this country and the un-American criminal activity that they're engaging in. And the sex offenses that 9AAJ332, the black Camry filled with passengers, and I'm zooming in so that you can see the female driving with glasses on, the male that's trying to cover up his face with his arm on the door hook above, while they're engaging with touching all over my thighs with engineered light. You saw the video while Arcadia police were group stalking, engaging in criminal summoning, and as I'm capturing video in Arcadia, engineered light moves all across. That's exactly what they're doing on my body. That's a sex offense. 9AAJ332, they're going to be prosecuted, and that's federal prison. The Latino male and the burgundy Chevy, that's federal prison. Okay, and they're acting with, that's called impunity. They're acting with regard to the knowledge that they have while I'm speaking to their criminal engagement and federal group stalking and monitoring. They are no less, I want to be clear, no less sex offenders as those that are ripping off your clothes, touching you, molesting you without your consent, without your knowledge, without any legal right to do so, while they're stalking you, and they want to stalk you secretly. That's a very violent sex offense. An exceedingly violent sex offender. The predatory mind state focusing on touching you. Somebody that will engage in sexual violence, just shut up, stop talking. I'm gonna touch your breast with engineer light. That's the mindset behind Satan. That's not going, and that has never worked. And I want you to see the faces of sex offenders, because it's going to be public information. The world's going to see their face. The world's going to have their license plate, identifying their conduct and the terrorism that they engage in, and the fact that they bow to Satan. So if they are currently congregating amongst those and they want to be looked at as Catholic or Christian or Muslim, whatever, they're demon possessed, and they're stalkers, they're criminals, and they're psychotic. Okay, just in case that they want to appear as religious. I don't know the details of their personal life, but you need to know that they're false in every regard, and they're criminals, and I'm going to prosecute them. That's why I captured screenshots. You can see up close, you can see their faces. Most of the point, a minor aspect of the P.O.C. Excuse me, I'll take that back. A major aspect of the P.O.C. is to shame those that are engaging in this pattern of conduct, to shame them. Look at their face. They want to engage in this criminal conduct secretly. So you don't even have a secret anymore. And so you openly engage in on video with knowledge. People are going to see the fact that you're driving by and engineer. Where is this light coming from? This is a demon. And the world needs to know that these are demons. And you need to recognize that demons, they walk around wearing Fendi, they walk around wearing Gucci, they walk around wearing off-brand clothes, they shop at Walmart, okay? They're homeless. They live in mansions off of Mulholland Drive. They drive Maseratis, they drive Nissans, they drive Kias, they drive Accords and Hondas. It doesn't matter. They drive Amazon Prime vehicles. None of that. All of that is super, it's all material, it's carnal, it's irrelevant. It does not matter. This is a population. And they engage in sexual violence because they don't like the truth that I speak about them. They engage in that. I'm going to prosecute you for it. They engage in violence. They engage in hostility. They engage in demonic behaviors to terrorize you because they don't like the truth that I speak about them. While you have no business engaging in corporate invasion of privacy, you have no business stalking. You have no business targeting someone. Why is my life your focus? Get your own life. That's the point. Get your own life. Now you're getting your own federal prosecution. And there's no ambiguity, there's no anonymity, there is no hiding your name amongst the group. It's going under your name. 8 ECJ 146. So I want to be clear. This is what I'm speaking of when the demons are listening to me talk about the reality regarding those, many of whom have federal plates on their vehicles. They have badges such as I'm in the Marines, I'm in the Army, I'm in the Navy, or my child is in the Navy, as though they want some sort of acknowledgement, as though they're honorable. They're not. I'm capturing a demon. I'm capturing a stalker who unfortunately gave birth to children. Okay, but that could be, let me be clear, my parents are not God-fearing, and I am the exception, but I want to be clear, that's rare. Most people follow the same path that those that came before them. That's unfortunately the reality of things. Most people, they follow the same path. And so you're talking about generations and generations and generations of people doing the exact same thing, making the same exact unfortunate decisions. And in the natural, you're witnessing a prosecution for what's at its core demonic, which is nothing other than the Lord judging what Satan is doing amongst the people. And he's so tired of it that he's exposing it, and he's even criminalizing it because the government is doing. There's a way. There are laws, and there are laws that shall be created because this is not impervious at all. And it's a form of judging what Satan is doing amongst a people. All right, so anyway, it is currently 2:46 p.m. That sexual violence, that terrorism is what an entire population is doing on a 24-hour basis. Understand the prosecution for federal group stalking and monitoring. It is indeed terrorism on a ceaseless basis. It's invasion of privacy on a ceaseless basis. License 9 EER 668. It is sexual violence on a ceaseless basis. Stalking. Everyone is literally stalking you. It's a population. That is shown through the unnatural environment. Where the fake sun is over me, that's where the fake moon is over me at night. Wherever it is that I'm at. Okay, that's speaking to what is an absurd level of harassment and what is an absurd level of what is terrorism. And then the ways when you are analyzing the behavior, which you are doing with any stalker. What they say has context. You can prosecute based on the behaviors, based on that which is reasonably construed from it. Express and implied threats. This is how you're analyzing any criminal stalking. This is what the government is doing through a population. Yes, you are analyzing everything, and that is speaking to all the ways in which you are going to be prosecuted for terrorism in the state of California. That's what federal group stalking and monitoring is, while the state practices demonic activity. All right, it is currently, again, 2:48 p.m. I'm going to document license plate 8XZE319 6847. I can't see the rest of that one. 9DIP429 and 7PLM 646. Again, that's 7PLM as in Mary 646. 9AHB 330. FYX 795. Walmart is group stalking on the freeway, using their lights as a means of light activity. They're group stalking right in front of me, and this is capable of, I'll get their license plate, but you don't need their license plates when you're documenting these large commercial actors who use commercial trucks. They're crossing state lines. I'm referencing Title 18 language with the intent, the purpose to keep an American citizen under surveillance. License PB 78839. That's an Indiana plate on a Walmart vehicle, a large commercial vehicle. They're driving with their hazards on. That's criminal facilitation. 9JFF648. It's currently 2:49 p.m. This is P.O.C. 9LAS 191, terrorism via directed light, and 8TQC 665. It's currently 2:57 p.m. I'm gonna go. Thank you. Oh, go ahead. Go right on ahead. 57174V1 P.O.C. All right, license plate 9KQA091 and 9EXC161. License 8SRR314. 9BTC431. License. It is currently 3:04 p.m. I'm in Hesperia right now, by the way. Hesperia, where the light source is maintaining central presence right over me. And that's not possible to be any sun in Costa Mesa or, for example, literally at this time yesterday, I stay in Arcadia, and so does the alleged sun. What the entity is doing with the light source is clear on its face. What I am showing you is recognizing the crime scene where that scientific impossibility is present. 9FPH877. 9JBU096. 6UPM713. It is currently 3:05 p.m. License XXSFMXX. 9AQH245. U610211. That's a Tennessee plate on a large commercial vehicle. This is Danny Herman is the trailer that's being carried. The front of the, it's Danny Herman Trucking Incorporated, Mountain City, Tennessee. That's the back license plate. Crossing path and doing so commercially. Amazon Prime is also on the same. Amazon Prime is so heavily documented, but I don't want to say that like Amazon Prime doesn't need to be documented because they're so heavily engaged in the POC. It's just that Amazon Prime is fully exposed as a terrorist. For example, Danny Herman, that's a commercial actor who needs to be known, engaging in the state's pattern of conduct. So that's what I mean when I make that juxtaposition regarding Amazon Prime. They're so heavily documented. Okay, nonetheless, this license plate for Amazon Prime, this is P892895. I believe that's Indiana as well. And the entity engaging in what is stalking under the fake sun that's over me while I am in Hesperia, California on the 15 North Freeway. That's nowhere near any 710 freeway, any 134, any 2 freeway in Glendale. This is speaking to a very specific and readily identifiable pattern of conduct. And the farther out I go, perhaps the more clearly you recognize what it is that I have been stating from the beginning, that which the evidence is already supporting by itself. But again, as I go to an entirely different location, it is irrefutable that the sun is not remaining stationary over Alvarado Gardens, okay, which is what the evidence shows. And that's the case with everything that I document. This is revealing what a population, an entire population is doing, and this is secretly. It's supposed to be secret. The target individuals suffer silently, and they suffer by themselves. It is 3:10 p.m., license 9AYE688, in case I didn't speak to that. Third party that's in front of me. This is criminal presence on a freeway where surveillance is underway, providing while this demonic system is underway, provides for a population to engage in 24/7 surveillance everywhere that you're going. And at nightfall, it's the same. Engineer light, as I've shown you multiple shadows, is as though my shadow is gang stalking me, while there are 4 of them that surround me. That's impossible light activity. It is as impossible as my shadow appearing above my head while I'm under the so-called sun. It's as impossible as sunlight flashing into my car while you want to be looked at as something other than a demon-possessed terrorist who is stalking. All right, that's what the entity is doing as a population, and it is not under any circumstances impervious to federal prosecution to the furthest extent of the law. 98QH245, which I read. I want to document that again. Again, I'm in Hesperia, California, and again, these cities quickly change. I believe I'm in Apple Valley now as I progress on the 15 North Freeway. and the fake sun remains over me, which I'll go ahead and capture an image of that right now. It's currently 3:11 p.m. This is P.O.C. 9LQB 555-70637. That's a handicap. 26436S2. 20398J1. License plate 8SCK 496 with a minor child in the vehicle, terrorizing via directed light as well. With that minor child, engaging in terrorism, conspiring to murder someone, sexually violating them, and including a child in the pattern of conduct. Remember, presence. Even while you are maintaining presence through children, you are participating in sexual violence with children. That's relevant to the ways in which the federal judge is going to prosecute you and what's required. That is removing children from your custody. Again, 8SCK496 POC. 9LZM452. Terrorism, and then tries to flee the scene. 8ZUP085 is monitoring with them. So they get their criminal co-conspirators in trouble. You know, they tell on each other. But that's justice. That's a bullying system imploding. All right, it's currently 3:36 p.m. All right, license replete with the name of Jesus on their license plate while they're serving Satan, engaging in group stalking. WITNESS. That's a red Dodge Charger, and the fake sun is directly over me. This is the federal group stalking and monitoring is no like ordinary system, not only because it is group stalking and because it is the state, it is demonic in nature. And so do not be deceived. Satan himself is very versed in scripture, very well versed in scripture. Satan is congregating in churches. Sunrise Church is exhibit A of that reality. And this is a third party that is group stalking on the roads and highways. And doing so while using by the way, our vehicles are literally just moving communication devices these days. And so with simultaneity to documenting and recognizing this third party, my music stops playing. Okay, so that's Title 18 criminal activity. And engaging in terrorism via directed light. This is a third party under the same fake sun, so I'm going to document this. And it's so funny because the more that I slow down, the more that they slow down. It's not funny, it's just so sad. Terrorizing via directed light. So let me get this little coward's license plate. They engage in it and they need to accept the consequences. License 8XFP659. It is currently 4:02 p.m. This third party is not different from the one with the Jesus on their license plate. That has nothing to do with whether or not they are Holy Spirit filled, born again Christian, actually in a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, which is literally diametrically opposed to group stalking, which is demon possessed stalking. No, you do not know Jesus. You are a lie and the truth is not in you. All right. So the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct while I am on the 15 North. The fake sun is captured. I capture that in images. This is literally the scientific impossibility. How is it outside of my bedroom window as I documented the entity stalking in helicopters? Okay. Doing so, that's speaking to a department-wide federal raid, which I told Dominic Choi, I told all those demons day in and day out when they engaged in the pattern of conduct, what they had to look forward to, and they continued. And that impunity and malice is sitting on the record. And no federal judge, no federal investigator is missing that. I literally gave voice to it because I want to make sure that nobody misses what the state of California is engaging in, the viciousness with which they engage in this system. And they do so while having the name of Jesus on their license plates. Okay, so I just want to speak to that using my communication device in my vehicle. That's audible activity creation. That's the significance with regard to, remember, it is elements that control. The demons are engaging in elements, and they're doing so. My music stopping, and I didn't stop my music. It was before I started recording. That's called audible activity creation. They're engaged. That's a monitoring method. It's the same thing with regard to the impossible light activity. That's a monitoring method with regard to the pattern of conduct that the demon possessed are maintaining while in a specific environment. So I just want to, that's also relevant to terrorism. It is, while demons are group stalking you and they engage in their demonic behaviors, thousands and thousands of people group stalking you, and they're engaging in demonic behaviors together. That's terrorism. That is terrorism. It is a real life horror flick. Okay, that is designed to terrorize. It is reasonably construed as threatening to a person, an ordinary person, a reasonable person. It is currently 4:04 p.m. This is P.O.C. I'm passing Field Road on the 15 North, and Amazon Prime is group stalking. License plate P 897046 while they change lanes to get over and get back over to the lane in order to, get in front of another truck. They're simultaneously engaging in light activity creation, not only because they're creating impossible light, which is on the ground. That's a demon driving a vehicle with Amazon Prime as a logo, and the front is called Freight Express. Okay, Freight Express. US.3510613, and they're carrying Amazon Prime. Both of those are identification of third parties. If you do not want to be connected with this federal group stalking and monitoring system, then you should be very discriminating with regard to who you let carry your cargo, because your logo will be the identification of you, where the state is engaging in stalking through a population. So I want to be clear, the people of the state are going to absorb that burden. You're going to absorb every and anything that is documented about you, and the presence of your logo is documentation of your criminal presence, period. All right, that's the malice of the system. And that's also how the entity is also communicating a threat. And this is already captured on the record. In the same way they like to communicate a threat, using those logos to return and retaliate and try to intimidate while you document. Okay, in the same way, that presence of that logo is criminal presence. And so you need to be discriminating if you want to depart from being captured any further after you're prosecuted. You need to become more discriminating with regard to who you permit to carry your logo, because where it is where you're going to be prosecuted based regarding what the target individual is documenting, who they are subject to it. Okay, who they are around while they are subject to it. It is currently 4:06 p.m. Remember, the entity is keeping the fake sun over me while I am remaining literally inside of the laundry room of Alvarado Gardens. Through the window of the laundry room, you would see the so-called sun. At least that's what the people of the state at that venue would like to contend. That's impossible while I am capturing a light source that's seen through my sunroof of my vehicle while I'm on the 15 North, headed toward the state of Nevada. Okay, and the entity is maintaining this light source in the same manner. You cannot see any sun that's in Sherman Oaks, and also over Best Western at 4 p.m. where I'm capturing video, and also over my head at Planet Fitness in Los Angeles, where the entity is flying over my head in a helicopter while that light source is directly over the top of my head at 4:07 p.m. It's 4:06 p.m. right now. The sun is not in all of those locations, maintaining presence over me also at all those locations, maintaining both stationary presence and also ongoing ubiquitous presence at the same time. That's not the sun, and it's clearly on its face unintelligent. So all you're doing is dragging Satan. That's all you're doing, and you're going to surround Satan with facts. That's all you're doing. Okay, this is impossible, and so since you want to engage in this impossible endeavor, which is the evidence to those who do not regard the reality of the spiritual reality that you are in and functioning in, whether you know it or not, Satan is real. He's an enemy of your soul, and he benefits while you disregard him, because he's focused on you. He's working on you. Okay, so this is the presence of the demonic, as I'm showing you the supernatural environment. There is no sun seen through the laundry room window of Alvarado Gardens at 1800 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, and also over my sunroof that I can see while I'm on the 15 North headed toward the state of Nevada at the same time. And that's just one means of documenting, of proving federal group stalking and monitoring, the crime scene where the group stalking system is underway. And it's on the roads and the highways. That's relevant to Title 18 criminal conduct. It's in amongst a population indiscriminately, having nothing to do with your race, your language, or a personal relationship between that targeted individual and the population. All of this is legally irrelevant. All of these are the preconceived notions upon which federal group stalking relies. The woefully inept and woefully unprepared entity are the ones who speak to these legally irrelevant aspects of what is a criminal pattern of conduct that is extremely specific and detailed, not anonymous whatsoever. 619-ZMC. Terrorism via directed light, that's federal prison. They're crossing state lines with a criminal purpose to engage in criminal surveillance, 9LAA014. And they're doing so, again, the demons do so while they listen to my truth as I speak it. This is Satan. That is nothing other than hostile. Satan wants me to shut up. I'm going to be honest with you. Satan wants me to stop talking. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to prosecute you more while you engage in criminal activity. That's criminal. I just read your license plate. You're going to federal prison. You're crossing state lines with a criminal purpose. This is language of existing federal statute, Title 18. Crossing state lines with a criminal purpose to keep another under surveillance. That's what you're doing driving from California to Nevada, group stalking. All right, terrorizing via directed light while the fake sun is over me. And I'm going to go ahead and capture that again. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. It's currently 4:09 p.m. 661S46, that's a Nevada plate. license 9BWB927, and it's currently 4:17 p.m. And I will capture the light source over me while this demon is crossing path, pacing with replete with what is impossible light activity inside of my car while they're monitoring and engaging in federal stalking as well. That license plate that I just read, the white BMW beginning with a 9, I believe, crossing path with engineer light as well. I'm going to capture the light source that's over me while I am on the 15 North heading toward Nevada at 4:18 p.m. All right, the group stalkers you see through my rear windshield, license plate EIWG47 with a Colorado plate, group stalking under the fake sun. License plate 9BDL606, group stalking under the fake sun. They're engaging in, remember, the entity that engages in terrorism via directed light, all the rest of the demons are monitoring as well. They're all engaging in group stalking while one is touching. What they like to do is they all touch. One after another will touch. But even if one touches, they're all touching together because they're all engaging in relevant positioning together. They're all engaged in what is maintaining the light activity together while they're moving under the engineer light. Engineer light is present day and night. Okay, the entity engages in sexual violence together, making you a part, absent your consent and knowledge and will and desire, to be a part of their demonic orgy, touching you, stalking you, and touching you. That's the purpose, the significance of the directed light conduct. Again, the license plate that was engaging in stalking with engineer light, the rest of the third party is being documented, an African American driving 9BWB927. This is P.O.C. It's currently 4:19 p.m. License 839A70. That's Nevada, trying to hurry up and cross path while I'm using my phone. License 9KHL512. Those are the demons that are engaged in Title 18. They engage in crossing and past somebody, in other words, speeding up in order to drive past me to monitor while they know what I'm doing on my phone. And they're also doing it with engineered light and possible light activity. License plate, I believe this is the same Colorado license plate, but I'm going to confirm this. Oh no, 694ZGT, that's Nevada. License plate 8DTC959. License JB Hunt is also group stalking. License plate 967Z82. That's Nevada. Coming in and out of California with a criminal purpose to engage in criminal surveillance, because that's what California is engaging in. Everybody coming across state lines, they're all catching that Title 18 federal case. License G286ZV. That's Utah. And JB Hunt is group stalking. I will get that license plate right now. Want to get all those demons that were engaging in demonic pacing. All right, what you will see is the light source through the rear windshield of the third party driving the white Infiniti SUV. That is no placement at the same time of a sun that's over Alvarado Gardens Apartments in Los Angeles, seen through the windshield, the windshields of the vehicles parked in the parking lot, and also through the window of the laundry room. The very, very precise placement with this fake sun. Okay, and that is an intelligent phrase in order to refer to what is not the sun. That's exactly why I use that phrase, fake sun, with regard to everything that there's a nomenclature for what Satan is engaging in, for what Satan utilizes to engage in this criminal system. And it is specifically and appropriately referred to as a fake sun that could be seen through the rear windshield of this group stalker while I'm en route to less than, 89 miles away from Las Vegas, Nevada, while also at the same time documented at the same time. That's a scientific impossibility that there's any sun over Alvarado Gardens, the apartment complex, seen through any windshield of the vehicles at the parking lot, and seen through any windows of the apartment building, including through my bedroom apartment, and also through the laundry room window specifically. I captured video at 4:18 p.m. I captured video at 4 p.m. I'm showing you the windshields of the vehicles parked at the property. Why did I do that? So there is no mistaking. This is where the light source is. There is no intelligent, there is no realistic, and there's no relevant argument trying to contend that the sun appears to be stationary all day long while it's engaged in constant movement, or that you can see it over the Ovid Family Community Library at the same time that you can see it through the windshield of a vehicle parked in Los Angeles while it's over Alvarado Garden. It just looks like it, but it's not. It's also over the Ovid Family Community Library in Ontario, California. This is not the case, and this is why I document exactly what I document as I document it. All right, there is no mistaking, and that is impossible that this is anything other than a demon. Again, the Utah plate G286ZV, engaging in Title 18 federal stalking and engaging in what is terrorism. A demon-possessed group stalker, practicing federal group stalking and monitoring on behalf of the state. This is how the state maintains presence all around you vicariously, including through corrupt businesses such as JB Hunt, such as Amazon Prime, while they're molesting with engineer light every time I drive by their trucks. PE18887, that's Indiana. And Penske is the third party carrying that Amazon Prime trailer. This is while the fake sun remains visible outside of my window, and it's currently 4:28 p.m. That is P.O.C. TU6317, that's Idaho. Pride Transport with regard to, Salt Lake City in Utah, and a molestation by a commercial actor. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct. Commercial actors, businesses, in other words, they're going to be prosecuted for sex offenses. That's what the state of California is engaging in while they practice federal group stalking and monitoring. This is understanding what will be prosecution of businesses for terrorism, which built into that terrorism is sexual violence, is also the mental illness that is practiced by those that work for such businesses. This is what these businesses actually advocate. This is what they're about. This is what they're doing while they're making money from the American people whom they are keeping under surveillance, unbeknownst to you, having the audacity to make $1 from you while they're keeping you under surveillance, sexually violating you, keeping you under surveillance, group stalking you, terrorizing and harassing you. That's what the people of the state do commercially. Okay, all you're doing is slapping a logo. This is the demon 9KLF683. All you're doing is placing a logo on that demon's vehicle, and you're understanding what is a superficial veneer. It's the same pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. It's currently 4:29 p.m. License plate 079T05. That is Nevada. It is currently 4:31 p.m. License plate PC79714. This is a commercial vehicle. There's no large logo, but the vehicle, the trailer that's carrying, the commercial actor that's carrying the large trailer, VSI. U.S.773399. Let me capture a picture of it. MGL 0116 8TYE 486 947 B14. And I already have the third party where you saw the light source through their rear windshield, the white SUV, the Infinity. They're still group stalking on the freeway. The Colorado license plate, again, this is a Caucasian female driving it, EIW G47. EIW, and there's a small DV in the middle of it, and then G47. That's a Colorado blue and white license plate. Terrorizing with directed light inside of my vehicle as well, aware of the fact that they've been documented. So all of the malice, all of the impunity that the entity practices while they're engaging the P.O.C., I have the ability to capture such details while they're group stalking me on the freeway under a fake sun 82 miles away from Las Vegas, where there is the people of the state that would like to contend that they're different from the people of the state on the freeway. 177FLY, that's an out-of-state license plate where the entity is engaged in criminal facilitation using their hazard lights on the side of the road. It's currently 4:34 p.m. This is P.O.C. 8TYB021. Stalking with activity. So that is speeding up and crossing path as I am in operation of my communication device. License 305-369. That's Nebraska. This is again FCC Fremont Contract Carriers Incorporated. That is the commercial actor. That's a commercial actor, a dark gray truck. That's a commercial actor that is group stalking. Remember, these large commercial actors, these large trucks, they are routinely practicing intrastate and interstate commerce while they're engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring and federal stalking. That's relevant to prosecution civilly and criminally of these companies. And I've been documenting this for years, hundreds of businesses. License, there is no license on the back. They're driving with their hazard lights on. This is light activity. And WM, I'm going to take a picture of this. Hold on. Capturing two commercial actors, and impossible light activity appears inside of my car while they're driving by under that, which is even the sun, and nor does sunlight ricochet into vehicles while you're crossing path. That's what demons do. 8JFV997, crossing path and monitoring. They're all monitoring together. So the entity is engaging in using commercial actors, and again, I'm pointing out the law while I'm going to enforce my rights. I am entitled to civil and criminal prosecution, civil recovery for the terrorism that commercial actors are engaging in while they're engaged in the state's pattern of conduct. They are crossing, these commercial actors, the people of the state are, but I'm talking about the ones whose pockets you're going to drain, the commercial actors who are going to be criminally prosecuted. They're engaging in crimes in violation of Title 18. They do so with the criminal purpose while in operation of a business, maliciously engaging in federal stalking. They're doing so with the purpose to cross state lines to keep an American citizen under surveillance. That's unlawful under the language of Title 18. That's what you're doing when you are in the business of carrying these large trucks that are routinely crossing state lines, and the state of California is a group stalker, the state of Nevada, you're going in between those states and you're group stalking, you're engaged in federal stalking, you are in violation of Title 18. All right, and you're also doing that while you're engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, you're simultaneously violating Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. It is currently 4:38 p.m. This is P.O.C. ATLF 542. They're monitoring with the demon that's out there far end. They're monitoring. They're engaging in themselves. Terrorism via directed light. They're monitoring in relevant position while on the opposite end of the freeway. So they're 2 lanes away from me, and engineer light is shooting inside of my car. So that's they're monitoring together. So one demon is engaging in violence against you. They're all engaging in violence together. So just want to document that. But again, as they cross paths with me, group stalking, they're engaging in the same conduct, flashing of light, flickering all inside of your car. That's it, the identification of hostile demons. And they're also violent sex offenders while they touch your person. They're engaged in federal stalking. Just want to make sure I document that. License 291965, Nebraska, with an American flag while engineer light appears inside of my car. This is Express Lane Inc. engaging in un-American conduct while carrying an American flag. I'm going to document that. 079T05 is crossing path again. That's a Nevada plate. All right, license plate 4NX2032. That's Baja X, a commercial actor. BAJA with a large X. That's a commercial actor group stalking. That's the license plate. Idaho TN4744. That's the back license plate on a commercial actor. VIMAC Transport LLC. They're group stalking. They're crossing state lines with a criminal purpose to keep another under surveillance. Engineer light, group stalking with. GK7Y87. That's a black Nevada license plate, I believe. And crossing path with LV8D3G. Crossing path with U461VK. That's an out of state. Crossing path with NXN1775. P.O.C. License 372NPB, demonic pacing, 9FIH527, demonic pacing. Again, as I'm documenting all those license plates, this third party, that commercial actor, is group stalking with all of them. You're going to tax these businesses, meaning drain their pockets. License 73H556, license 5SXU586, I believe, substantially similar. I'm at Holloran Springs Road on the 15 North, and the demons are engaging in pacing in vehicles on a freeway. It's the same pattern of conduct. License plate 5356907, that's Maine. Okay, 9J. License plate 9AJG472, I believe. It is 4:42 p.m. The demons are very anxious to engage in criminal activity that is worthy of federal prison, so I want to document that. You have more and more of them engaging in demonic pacing as I capture the commercial actors. You have demons coming and crossing path one vehicle after another. This is not ordinary traffic. This is demonic pacing, and that impunity is going on all of their accords. Every license plate that I'm reading, license 9JJG472 is the correct license plate. All right, license plate coming up and crossing path. License plate, this is a Honda Pilot, I believe. License plate 605W09, that's a female driving that with a Nevada license plate. License plate 7DVE627. License plate QGAS04, that's Florida. These are the demons who engage in this group stalking conduct and are fully incapable of, you're not protecting anyone, and I will drain their pockets more as they engage in the demonic group stalking together. CL83779. That's an out-of-state, I believe that's Arizona. I just wanted the pickup and crossing a path as I document it. 449ZUD. And license plate PA39878. 3486336. That's a Penske truck, group stalking, and the trailer attached to that. Okay. License GDQ310. That's Georgia. Rainer LLC is the name on this side of that truck. 826ZRA Nevada. Crossing path, demonic pacing, terrorism on the freeways. 89210S3. P.O.C. Every demon equals criminal conduct, relevant positioning, light activity, monitoring to the audible activity while they're listening to their prosecution coming, and the federal judge is not going to hesitate to give it to them. Okay? They literally accelerated into a federal case. License plate R No, that's 2D. Well, you can scratch that. I can't see that one. That's a black license plate. You can scratch that one. But 435 TKD is stalking with that criminal facilitation light activity on the side of the road. While demons are pacing around me, a demon on the side of the road with their hazard lights on. That's called massive facilitation. That's what the state does just in police vehicles, ambulances, and fire trucks. So the people of the state do the same thing. It's demonic. They do it in the demonic environment. Walgreens is group stalking. 712563 is the Wisconsin plate on the back. I'm going to capture image. DEOJ611, 87374T. That's an out-of-state plate, black and white. And the entity, I took a picture of Walgreens license plate. Engineer light moves all across my back seat. That's terrorism that I'm going to prosecute Walgreens for. That's demonic conduct, and it is a specific act of a crime while you are seeking to obstruct justice, while you are being documented engaging in terrorism. Okay, the federal investigators were treated the exact same way. MA4067 Nevada. Engineer light flashing all about terrorism via direct light and monitoring with that demon. License plate LLM7653 New York. That's a Latino male. License 37983V3. These are demons engaging in lawlessness, terrorism via directed light. That's worthy of federal prison. They're also engaged in what is federal stalking, an independent basis for federal prison. They're engaging in lawlessness and their hostility, the light activity, and the crossing of path conduct. You've got more of them driving in front of you, accelerating, because I'm documenting the P.O.C. TG2399 Idaho. Engineer light dragging behind this commercial actor. I'm going to capture. All right, capturing a possible light. Stalking with light activity. Group stalking is license OLLYWD. They're group stalking with these commercial actors. You can see the engineer light beside the trucks, behind the trucks. And as I've documented, the entity is aiming engineer light inside of my vehicle while these demons are aware that they're being documented. So you're engaging in terrorism, and as a terrorist, you engage in more terrorism. 4RU3668, that's Legend Transportation Incorporated. Engineer light is beside that truck. LTI US.35169007. License plate VGSFB. That's a black Nevada license plate. License plate 865ZYG, Nevada, on a black Range Rover. A demon driving a Range Rover. There's nothing impressive about that, by the way. That's a demon, and that's a stalker. They're stalking me in a Range Rover. What are they doing with their life? Well, they're going straight to federal prison, I'll tell you that. They're engaging in impunity. Remember, the entity is acting as one. So hundreds of people are acting as together, aware of the fact that they are all together being documented. Impunity is a basis for posing an impermissible threat that equals federal prison. I just want to be clear. Stalking in a Range Rover, and you will wind up in federal prison. It is currently 4:48 p.m. License plate. Amazon Prime is group stalking. Another one. License plate. An African-American male driving A7554809. That's a paper plate with Washington on it. That is a Cadillac STX, I believe. And Amazon Prime is also group stalking. Let me get this license plate. It is Maine, I believe. 40402. No, that's not Maine. That's an Oregon license plate. The letters HV and then 40402 is on the back. This is Amazon Prime. I'm going to document that as well. It is currently 4:50 p.m. The entity is engaging in heightening the aggression. This is a threat to your life, while psychopaths and sex offenders who are stalking you on behalf of the government are targeting with demonic methods of surveillance with engineer light, including commercial actors. P768177, that's CR England. Crossing path, and the entity is the people of the state that are in their own vehicles engaging in the pattern of conduct. As I documented more and more license plates, you're going to pay attention. These are the patterns that you'll recognize. So the entity is aware of what I'm documenting. So I'm documenting commercial actors whose pockets I'm going to drain. Now, why would this demon that's driving a Honda Accord be concerned about the pockets of Amazon Prime, who I'm going to drain? Because they are equally interested. All of them are interested in the same entity. You're dealing with a personality, the demon possessed. Understand that. You're dealing with a personality that is operating over a person, which happens to be the population. They all have the same personality, demon possession. Okay, 78RW969. This is how you are understanding and recognizing the rise in aggression, which is a pattern that I continuously document as the entity is aware of the fact that they're being documented. 9GGX465. Now, some I don't want to call names. I was going to say brokey, but I will refrain from that. And I will just say somebody that is economically challenged versus somebody that owns a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, what do they have in common? The fact that they're both group stalking, the fact that they're both demon possessed. 739T81 Nevada is engaged and interested in what I'm documenting about the group stalker driving the Amazon Prime vehicle, because they're both engaged in the same criminal activity. They're both in the same environment. All right, so that's with regard to what the demons are doing. And as I'm documenting aggression, the more license plates, you're understanding aggression. 6249463 9EYP080. All the aggression that the entity exhibits while you're engaging in terrorism, you remain on the wrong side of the law. You will suffer even longer. You're going to suffer even longer. You will go to federal prison. If you're not going to federal prison based on facts and circumstances, but I want to be clear, I'm crossing state lines right now, and the entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct. So a very specific pattern of conduct. Let me get these third parties real quick, and then I'm going to continue with my analysis. You're engaging in a very specific pattern of conduct. It's so funny. They don't want to cross. They don't want to cross lanes when I am getting ready to get their license plate. License 7ARW 969 is crossing path again with the impossible light activity that's molesting. I'm going to get that. License 8 USW 402. License 37B 961. That's Nevada. License 4H6SH. That is a license plate. It doesn't look like handicap, and it looks like it's California, but it's got a flag beside it, so it looks different than the regular California license plates. That's why I'm mentioning that. License plate, a paper license plate, DD62D29 paper on a Chevy, black Chevy Traverse, I believe that is. VGSFB, crossing path again. So I want to make sure that I document, because I'm going to get this third party and this engineered light. 9KKA 236. Passing SEMA Road, exit 272 on the 15 North. License plate, DH86M55 paper. License plate, CGW1194, Washington. Group stalking the state of Nevada, crossing state lines to engage in group stalking. License, let me get this license plate of this commercial actor. This is Park Cox Trucking Company Incorporated. They have a demon driving their commercial vehicle that is carrying, this is Cox carrying Cox. This is because sometimes you'll have a company carrying another large cargo. License 9JLT697, crossing path, and license 8CYS931. Cox, St. George, Utah. The back license plate is Idaho, and it's TK3246. All right, now this is a demon that's crossing path, and I'm going to document this right now. All right, being targeted from the opposite side of the street by the demons who are pacing. License AL2D6H. That's a Nevada plate. It's black. The letters in the front are AL are small. 643Y06. That's a Nevada plate also. License 78H670. So since I'm in the state of Nevada, I'm not going to state Nevada because most of them should be Nevada. Now what I will do, because I'm in a different state, I'm going to point out when it's outside of the state of Nevada, such as California or Ohio, etc. Okay, so I want that to be understood, because I'm not going to state Nevada every time. It becomes redundant. And it is 5:54 p.m. The entity is targeting from the opposite side of the street. Engineer light moves across while the demons in front of me, including the black license plate starting with AL. Engineer light moves across. That's how you know. This is the remarkable body of evidence showing what is literally a nationwide system. State surveillance, state and system is already in operation in the United States. And this is a reckoning regarding what the system that scripture speaks of. It's already in operation. There are things that are still to come, and it's going to become worse. It's going to intensify, and especially it's going to intensify because of the fact that it's not a secret anymore. All right, so this system is already in operation. I go from a different state, and I'm capturing. This is nationwide. AL2D6H, again, terrorism via directed light, dragging across a brick wall while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct, and doing so while a fake sun remains in perfect alignment with me in Nevada. Okay, and at 5:55 p.m., I am literally capturing videos so many times when I'm noting the times. I'm like, 5:55, excellent time. I've said that so much, and I do that. I'm in Nevada, and at this excellent time, a fake sun remains in alignment with me, and that's necessarily a fake sun. License 8951A6D. This is a turning lane. I'm not turning, so I'm going to stay in this lane. D6635, that's a handicap plate. Loomis, a documented group stalker, is crossing path, commercially engaged in the P.O.C. License B48PWR, that's Nevada also. License plate Q48ZYB, passing park, and I'm looking at Delano, third-party facilitating venue. I'm looking at Circus, I believe. I'm looking at, this is the park, like a plaza. It's called the Park at Arena Drive at the I-15. This is headquarters for P.O.C. When you come to Las Vegas, they're monitoring you, just in case you didn't know that. So there was a shooting here in 2017. There might have been more than one, but the one that I recall was the shooter, the assailant, was inside of one of these facilitating venues. That was the people of the state engaging in an act of violence. This is what these demons do, by the way. And this is criminal conduct, the violence that the demon-possessed engaged in. And this is what all of them are subject to the same condition. And this is the ability to recognize that the public safety concern, just because one of them have not met the perfect storm whereby they would engage in the same exact conduct. For no reason, you're group stalking and terrorizing. You do not have a reason, you don't need one, to engage in just like that assailant did. That was the people of the state that engaged in mass murder outside of the windows of one of these facilitating venues. License NY 724403, 9KVB738, that's California. License plate. So you need to recognize who's out here, because it's not the children of God that are engaging in what is massive shootings. That's the people of the state, the demon-possessed, who are group stalking as well. All right, and guess who's being killed? The people of the state are killing each other, by the way. Just want to point that out. License LV9BOT 75G673. I'm at third-party facilitating venue, and this is the ability to identify it. Mandalay Bay. This is the entity that is engaging in a pattern of conduct and doing so while a fake sun remains over me at Mandalay Bay. There is no reasonable basis to question anything about what I have stated regarding the specific environment and the identification of a third party and a facilitating venue. And then you're talking about all manner of civil and criminal prosecution because of all the harms that you suffer while the pattern of conduct is underway. And these are the demons that are molesting and terrorizing with engineered light, that are then stalking you, going into bathroom stalking. That's the sex offender. Following by checking into hotels to keep you under surveillance. These are the people of the state. The same ones that are stalking on the freeway, they're the ones that fill the hotels. They're the ones that are living at Alvarado Gardens. They're the ones that are on the inside, working at the grocery store, working at the wherever it is that you eat at it, whatever restaurant. This is the people of the state. While they're exhibiting their demon possession, while they're crossing paths on the freeway, understand this is the same personality. This is the same personality that fills the people of the state. This is what animates them, their demon possession. When I can go from Los Angeles, when I can go from Costa Mesa to Nevada and show you the exact same pattern of conduct, you need to recognize what is within the pattern of conduct as I've exposed it. And it is, first of all, demon possession. The demon possessed are out here engaging in mass murders, just like was the case in Las Vegas, and it's no random act. You are aware of their condition, and you're aware of the type of conduct that they are capable of engaging in, based on the fact that they're group stalking, by the way. Based on the fact that they're group stalking. I just want to point that out. Again, NY 724403, that's a paper plate. And license LV9BOT, license 890X93, license 719ZCD, license CWM1464, and that is Arizona. License, I think I'm wrong. Let me turn that off. License... This is demonic pacing at Russell Road and Frank Sinatra Drive on traffic cameras as well. Yeah. License plate 823ZFF. License NCP Z60 Florida. License 166Z44. What they're talking about. I'm going to turn. License 473V54, license 775Y48, license 189ZYW. Let me turn. It is currently 6:01 p.m. There is no sunset at Baker and Fairview Road in Costa Mesa, like I documented, where the demon-possessed and corrupt agency, the Orange County Sheriff's Department and the Costa Mesa Police Department, were group stalking in concert with the people of the state, all of whom share a condition which is readily identifiable by that specific environment, and also through their conduct, which is malicious, demonic pacing. The demon-possessed are surrounding you at all times, and they're stalking you at all times, and they're focused on what you do, while they want to outwardly appear as though they're focused on something else, as though you're the least important person on the planet, and they are focused, they are consumed and obsessed with you. They're violent sex offenders with regard to their obsession with you. And that's the truth. That's what they don't want you to know. It is currently 6:01 p.m. I'm going to capture this fake sun while I'm on Russell and Las Vegas Road. It's 6:01 p.m. License NFL 49RS 462S80. License VHC 7974, and that's an out-of-state license plate. I didn't see what state that was. License 7YLX996 LVC59S 840NMJ. That's Oregon. Q40W83. That is Nightfall Owl. Okay, a commercial actor. They probably make a lot of money selling stuff on the side of the street. They're group stalking. 5361A4. Crossing Mandalay Bay, you can see the fake sun in perfect alignment with my window, my driver's side window, which is the same position of the light source at this time and later in Orange County and Costa Mesa at the intersection of Fairview Drive and Baker, where again the state was group stalking, and you're going to juxtapose those crime scenes with what these state agencies are engaging in. Costa Mesa Police Department, Orange County Sheriff's Department, and the state police, and the CHP in Nevada, and the Harvey Airport. This is a state facilitating venue, and all of these are the federal government's put on notice immediately upon establishing the specific environment where the crime scene is underway with the population. Okay, you're automatically on alert regarding all of the state actors, all the state facilitating venues, the police, the sheriff, the airports, and you've even got state police out here. They literally participated in that was very foolish, but again, I am confronted every day with highly foolish conduct in the face of evidence, insurmountable evidence, and yet the demon possessed continue. Okay, so I just want to be clear with regard to you're going to federal prison. Nonetheless, the entity Satan is also going to continue a system license Q82Z04, but you're talking about running at 5,000 miles per hour toward a federal prosecution. You're talking about making some serious life decisions here. This is what the demon possessed, and that's showing the mental illness. And that's going, let me be clear, capturing one helicopter, which I didn't need to capture. The specific environment is already here. The federal government, I am training the entity, I'm training regarding the entity's pattern of conduct. They automatically know, the police, the sheriff, the airport, they already know. So you engage in the pattern of conduct, and the target individual is documenting, will put it on the internet so the rest of the world knows what this state is doing. That's horrible for tourism, by the way. But I just want to be clear. The entity is engaging in conduct, and this is speaking to literally blowing the whistle on any and everyone. I don't need you to cross paths with every fire department. You're talking about what the entity, the federal government knows everything based on that pattern of conduct. They already know. Okay, that's how you have the impossible. That's what's relevant regarding the impossible maintenance of this environment. This is how you recognize Satan is stalking. Maintaining demonic methods of stalking someone. Okay, very malicious. And that's what public corruption is supposed to appear like. Public corruption is supposed to appear in plain sight. But again, it's assuming that you're ignorant about what you're looking at. And even if you're looking at it, who are you going to report it to? Okay, this is the target individual that doesn't have any federal government to enforce their rights, any federal government to report it to. All right, absent any precedent to report so-called federal group stalking and monitoring. It's got a name. All right, it's got a framework. There's a foundation. There shall be precedent. And you're talking about federal jurisdiction, any state government. and I'm in Nevada, and they're engaging in the identical pattern of conduct. It is speaking for what is disbanding corrupt agencies. Just as the entity is, it's telling the world, you just told the world that you're corrupt, but they already knew because I'm here and I'm documenting it. You come out, the cockroaches come out of the crevices while they engage in the P.O.C. and the entity is aware exactly who to focus in on, hone in on, while the population engages in the pattern of conduct. The entity is telling on itself. This is how literally the expiration date, the implosion of federal group stalking and monitoring. It's currently 6:07 p.m. BNV 1973. And the entity and everything that is occurring, the entity is engaging in it with specific knowledge regarding any my location, license NY 733481. That's a paper plate on a CarMax Jetta, a burgundy Jetta. An engineer light appearing on the inside of my car while crossing path at Paris and Las Vegas Boulevard. And I'm going to capture the fake sun in perfect alignment with me. Third party facilitating venue, Caesar's Palace. Third party facilitating venue, Trump Tower, The Mirage, Treasure Island. Third party facilitating venue, Bellagio. Third party facilitating venue, the Cosmopolitan. They're all engaged in state surveillance. So you're out here touring, and the entity, everything that you're doing is a matter of public information. You don't have any privacy, and the entity is engaging in a criminal pattern of conduct that is readily identifiable. They're all stalking, group stalking. A bunch of demons come to Vegas. A bunch of demons live in Vegas. Okay, the entity is engaging in audible activity creation 097 R61, and this demon's license plate is 700W19. Let me get that again. 700W19. That's audible activity harassment while you're group stalking. But that's fine. The entity doesn't have to be nice while you're group stalking, but I will be clear. The entity will, you will watch your mouth. What's the substance of your audible activity, which is threatening an American citizen's life? It's monitoring. Okay. So the entity is engaging in communicating a threat. And so while you do, for example, threaten, I'm gonna pull your hair. That's a threat. You go to federal prison for that. So I just want you to understand there's nothing small about what the government is doing toward an American citizen. And the government that is serving Satan, that is engaged in demonic activity, is engaging in this criminal system with the demon-possessed population. That's the bully system of federal group stalking and monitoring. So the audible activity is relevant, and it is analyzed with regard to prosecuting for the threat posed to the target individual on an ongoing basis. Now I'm going to capture the fake sun while I'm driving down a side alley on I'm on Paris, approaching Audrey, and you will see the perfect placement of the fake sun where demons are stalking as though they're rushing anywhere. They're not rushing anywhere. They're stalking. They're stalking. It's currently 6:09 p.m. License 862YWJ 061M91 212ZHC 580MR. That's handicap. That's California. 61E551 864Y29. I'm at the intersection of Audrey and Harmon, and the fake sun is in alignment such that it's hitting the building of, I believe this is Mandalay Bay, and gold light is covering all over the street. That's not the sun, nor is that sunlight. And that's also the light source that's hovering, hunkering down beside and underneath buildings and structures, as opposed to being the sun that's above all of us. Demon stalking 003LXY 342E65. Let's see, Q38X72. 4973A7. That's new cab, vehicle 7648. Group stalking on the job. All right, using commercial means of stalking, group stalking. GK607C SARAMY 498ZYZ. Yeah, that is question. ZYZ. 342E65. I think I read that one. D61M91 930MPM. That's Oregon. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Engineer light beside the vehicle on the ground. Yeah, 342E65. Okay, go ahead. License plate. Yeah, all those license plates I just read. Engineer light dragging on the ground while they cross path. 365N71. That license plate, I believe I said D. So this is a Nevada plate, and it's a Honda Civic 003LXY. These zeros look like D's, D as in dog, but that's 003LXY. I'm at Harmon and Caval in Las Vegas, Nevada at 6:12 p.m. License plates KAPTMA. 6:13 p.m. And you can see the fake sun in perfect alignment with me. That third party is going to federal prison. The entity stalking by helicopter. That's audible activity. I'm going to get this license plate for group stalking with the state that's stalking in a helicopter. License plate 649V44. Yeah. License plate 200D52. Honking the horn is audible activity under the fake sun with the state that's stalking in a helicopter. They're monitoring. 482ZJV. This is P.O.C. Yeah, I'm not going. License LVN 6129, and this third party is going to federal prison. I'm going to read their license plate in a second. Okay, let me get... Okay, the third party who is going to federal prison based on their criminal engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring with the state, that's stalking in a helicopter that was flying in a distance to the driver's side of my vehicle while I was at the intersection of Caval and I believe the cross street being Caval and I documented it. Let me get this. Caval and Harmon. At that intersection, the entity is stalking in helicopter when a third party is creating audible activity. Okay, that's what the incessant sound of a horn is accomplishing while a light source that's not the sun is over me in the state of Nevada, and while the people that say including that third party are stalking in the path with impossible light activity. So honking the horn while the entity is stalking with a helicopter, that's federal prison. And again, that license plate of that third party is BKRBABE. I documented this on video. I want to put it also on the podcast. They're driving a black SUV and they get in front of me, aware of the fact that I'm not capturing video. I captured a picture. You can see the helicopter that is engaging in circling, and I was intending to capture video. I captured one still image. So I captured video again immediately following upon noticing that, and I documented that license plate. I want to make sure that it's on all of my means of documentation. BKRBABE. This is not African American, but a black SUV. This is a means of harassment while they're stalking in the path. The entity that you're reminded about what the entity is doing, and then the entity engages in things such as honking the horn and hurrying, or even engaging, I don't see you there. They're group stalking, and to engage in conduct like that is not suggesting that you're not, or that you're not providing any rebuttal. The fake sun remains, the engineer light remains, the amplified audible activity remains. The entity engages in assault and battery, a threat to your life, all right, while they engage in such documented acts, okay? Amazon Prime heavily engaged in group stalking, engaged in assault with deadly weapon while they're trying to hurry up and run a red light so they can obsessively engage in crossing a path conduct while I have the right of way in the specific environment. That's a grounds of federal prison. You're not ignorant about my presence. You're obsessively engaging in crossing a path. Somebody has to hurry up and cross path. All right. And the entity does use the traffic lights for purposes of monitoring. So the lights are turning in order to create light activity. And this third party driving Amazon Prime, I'm just giving you an example of the P.O.C. They're not ignorant about your presence. They're not rushing off to go anywhere. They're group stalking me. In the specific environment, literally the scientific impossibility that the sun is going to be at Caval and Harmon in perfect alignment with me at that, and also seen through my bedroom window at Alvarado Gardens is the evidence of that. In that, and amongst that scientific impossibility, the entity is flying in a circle in a helicopter. All right, so BKRBABE, that's the license plate of that third party, and they're going to federal prison. I documented other third parties in the video that I captured immediately following that still image, and it's currently 6:22 p.m. So this is moments earlier than right now. And those third parties are going to federal prison too. So they're group stalking, they're crossing path, they're acting together. I'm documenting the entity that's engaging in the incessant horn honking, which is audible activity creation, while the entity is stalking in the path using helicopters. All right, it is currently, again, 6:22 p.m. I just want to make sure I capture that on the podcast. This is P.O.C. License 554ZUA 9BIU338. That's California. 018Z96 DX41430. That's an out-of-state license plate. It's a blue and white plate with red characters on it. I can't see the state from here. 534Y99 960ZJC Zebra Jack Charlie. Q89U63 939LZP 456 ZYJ 99F1. That's LV, the little letters in front, and 99F1. License plate 9FZP109. That looks like California. License 914-4XZ, I believe. Substantially similar to Toyota Tacoma. License 083ZLW GK29. Hold on. GKs are the small letters 2N95. 7UGJ785, that's California. 010J08, that's Planet 13, that's a commercial vehicle number 5713, I believe. 5755, excuse me. It's vehicle number 5755. That is, again, 010J08. Oh, I think I'm at, let me cover. Passing MGM. I'm at Duke Ellington. At Duke Ellington and, well, I'm at the MGM. I'm looking for a cross street. I'm back at Caval and, just so that you can see, Caval and Tropicana. I'm going to show you the light source. 9CC-B664. It's 6:30 p.m. Okay, the demons do the same thing under a fake sun. 9CC-B664, criminal summoning. SWTMOKA, that's criminal summoning. License 066W65, criminal summoning. And so is the Harvey airport. They're engaged in criminal summoning. They're group stalking, pacing with using planes, pacing all around while the fake sun remains over me as I'm driving around. That airport's going to be prosecuted. License 198UZZ. They're engaged in criminal summoning. That airport's engaged in criminal. Remember, all of the state is acting together. So I'm documenting all of the state and these third parties that are acting individually as one entity. This is how the state keeps presence all around you. PD 3167 12H011. And it's very targeted what the entity is doing when it sounds sirens. And so that's why they're not hiding around in some dark corner like Satan intends to. Like, you can't know. There's no way. That's not what's going. A fake sun is over me in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. At 6:32 p.m., there is literally video documentation of a sunset through the window of Arrowhead Regional Medical Center in Colton, California at 6:38 p.m. There is no shared environment. That's not the natural environment. I use that and juxtapose it with what the LAPD were doing at Alvarado Gardens, where the same specific environment is present. Impossible to be the natural environment. What is going on at this intersection at Caval and at Kyle House Apartments. There you go. At 4800 Caval Lane in Las Vegas. That's speaking to a very specific pattern of conduct, and those license plates are engaged in criminal summoning. And that is the basis for federal prison. Just want to point that out. And they're doing the exact same thing that the state of California does. The exact same pattern of conduct, in other words, is what I am establishing. License plate. Let me get this fake sun right now. All right, MGM is engaged in criminal summoning. They're going to be prosecuted for federal stalking. And I'm going to drain the pockets for the criminal conduct that they are providing a location for while the state arrives using emergency vehicles, which is light activity creation. It's also reasonably communicated as a threat while the entity is engaged in the P.O.C. Doing so while I'm documenting a series of images at 6:38 p.m. You will see the images of what is relevant positioning and light activity creation while the entity sounds sirens. That is criminal facilitation. And the facilitating venue of MGM Graham is who I'm going to civilly and criminally prosecute for that. More than MGM is a monitor. Okay, but I want to be clear, the entity is engaging in that conduct while I'm at the venue, concentrating that light activity and the sirens based on my location. So where you're at is where the P.O.C. is underway, and that is the entity that's engaging in that in concert. 78B547. All of them engaged in criminal summoning together. The entity just surrounding in helicopters and planes, group stalking, keeping a fake sign over me. Now I'm in the state of Nevada, and also sounding sirens, which is audible activity and light activity. Those are the demons of these corrupt state actors, the corrupt Las Vegas Police Department, the corrupt Sheriff's Department, the corrupt airport. It's a state facilitating venue where demons are climbing in and out of airplanes and pacing all around in relevant position. Okay, that's what MGM is going to be prosecuted for. License 5912A5. License 127X66, stalking the path with light. And the entire airport, not just Southwest Airlines, the entire airport and every airline is going to be engaged, is documented as a group stalker at the Harvey airport. Just want to be clear, the whole airport is hot with regard to federal group stalking and monitoring. All right, the entity is stalking in helicopters, so I'm going to go ahead and capture this. This is the lawlessness that is underway in the state of Nevada. That's criminal summoning and stalking in a helicopter. License plate 251X97, vehicle number 6601. License plate 8D2W99, commercial actor, that's Star Cab 363Z91, that's Nevada, 522ZZU, 9FZE082. The entity is stalking in a dark gray helicopter. Okay, while the entity went to the specific intersection where I'm at with light activity and sounded sirens and then drove off. That was a demon in an ambulance. I took pictures of it. That was a demon hovering in a gray colored helicopter, and the fake sun and engineer light surrounds where I'm at MGM. Okay, I just want to point that out. The entity is engaging in demonic pacing via the people of the state, and these are commercial actors that surround at MGM. All right, it's currently 6:40 p.m. at Ocean Drive and Tropicana. The entity is engaging in federal stalking. It's not just MGM, Tropicana. In other words, the state of Nevada prosecuted for state surveillance. That's what this is speaking to. The entire state of Nevada to be prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring, keeping me under surveillance in violation of my constitutional rights, and that's the prosecution of the entire state. They literally just engaged in every hallmark, and the fake sun is here. The entity is stalking in helicopter. The entity is doing it in violation of existing state and federal laws, and the entire state's going to be prosecuted. That's what the entity is doing. Criminal summoning at Hooters, criminal summoning at MGM, and I'll get the fake sun right here. Right. All right, that is the groundwork for the prosecution of the state of Nevada that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and the people of the state of Nevada who do not have any constitutional protections. So what the entity is doing throughout the entire state of California is what the entity is doing throughout the entire state of Nevada. That's why I can cross state lines and capture the same hallmarks, capture the same demonic behavioral patterns, capture the same, let me be clear, engineer light is a phenomenon. For me to go to literally a different location and for it to happen again, let alone go to a different state, and that phenomenon is reoccurring. The entire state of Nevada is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, which is an offense committed by a corrupt entity. This is the prosecution of the state of Nevada for federal group stalking and monitoring. I just want to make sure that you understand that. License plate 458Y43 3378WR GK414A as in Apple KRYSTL. License plate 41B158 MGR123 255 S90. A lot of these are these cab lines, these taxi cabs. They're group stalking. 543V19 542D99. This is the prosecution of the state of Nevada for federal group stalking and monitoring. Okay, at the same criminal system that the state of California is engaging in, and this is what the nation is engaged in, and this is what I was subject to on a ceaseless basis. Harry Reid Airport is no exception with regard to the P.O.C. Harry Reid is fully engaged in the P.O.C. They're covered in engineer light, while a fake sun and the state's stalking pattern is underway, contrary to what the entity engages in. The explanation for what is free conduct and flying any and everywhere that they want in planes. That's the pattern of conduct that's underway. It's in the specific environment. They're flying planes in the specific environment. Harry Reid is a corrupt actor. That's the airport, and the federal government is going to treat it accordingly. They're going to be prosecuted for criminal conduct, facilitating surveillance by the state of California. Facilitating federal group stalking and monitoring, that's very serious criminal conduct. That's what the entire state of Nevada is going to be prosecuted for. It is currently 6:43 p.m. This is P.O.C. F466PE, that's a Utah plate. I'm at Polaris Avenue and Russell Drive in Las Vegas. License, and it's currently 8:36 p.m. License plate The entity is engaged in heavy helicopter activity. And as the state actor, one of the group stalkers, these demons that are part of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, they specifically stated their audible activity, which was monitoring me, stating that they're quote-unquote tourist helicopters. The state is engaging in group stalking using helicopters, and the entity engages in group stalking as group stalking with helicopters that belong to the police departments themselves. Let me be clear, group stalking by helicopter through the people of the state, such as, for example, in California, that wouldn't be exclusive to California, but I'll use California as an example, Channel 7 News. Which, by the way, the entity is engaged in stalking me in helicopter at my apartment complex, and it looked a lot like the channel, one of these, the people of the state's helicopters from the television stations, as opposed to LAPD's helicopter. I've seen that before, but I want to be clear, helicopter activity, it's the same exact pattern of conduct, and it is group stalking in the sky space, and you will go to federal prison all the same, especially, again, upon my blowing the whistle. The entity is engaging in group stalking by helicopter, and so that's malice, where the entity is, oh, that's different, or that's an exception. No, it's not, and you'll go to federal prison for group stalking by helicopter, and that's exactly what Metropolitan Police Department were doing while these demons were, I want to put it on my podcast, crossing path right where I'm at, in concert with amplified audible activity, while they were conducting a traffic stop, which was the exercise of fictitious authority, while they're group stalking. They were group stalking. This is what the entity does. The corrupt police departments group stalk by traffic stop. They group stalk by somebody by arresting the people of the state, or even arresting the target individual, something that's related to a function related to their duties. That's how they group stalk you. That's how they're group stalking, and it's called criminal summoning. So that's literally what the pattern of conduct is going to look like. But this is even beyond that. The entity is engaging in outright pattern of conduct. I clearly captured the foundation for the prosecution of the state of Nevada. Then the entity engaged in an affirmative act of harassment and terrorism by exercising fictitious authority and conducting a traffic stop that they have no authority to engage in. And that will be the prosecution of, again, let me get the state actor who's going to be prosecuted, the chief of police, the office of the chief of police for the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, and I believe it's a combined police department and sheriff's department. Let me document his name on podcast. Kevin McMahal is, first of all, a demon. This is a corrupt leader whose criminal engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring was documented through the criminal activity of the Metropolitan Police Department in the specific environment, exercising fictitious authority, group stalking by the exercise of fictitious authority, abusing the doctrine of reasonable suspicion in order to engage in criminal conduct. They are engaged in what is a matter of public corruption in Nevada, and the Mr. McMahal is going to be removed from his position, and it also needs to be known what is his condition. This is a corrupt government actor who is demon possessed, and that's why you have this demonic environment in Nevada. This is why you have the demonic behavior by the people of the state. This is why you have that affirmative act of criminal conduct by a delusional and what is a highly unintelligent, and let me be clear, they're not only are they disqualified, they're not even trained. They don't even know the definition of reasonable suspicion. Upon my conversation with the state actors, and they were told to their face that they're all going to federal prison, and they are. They were all told that they're going to federal prison. While in the midst of their of a federal investigation, the entity engaged in a criminal act. And this was, again, upon the exercise of fictitious authority. Again, the demon, going by the name of L. Lassiter, an African-American male. He's about 5'4", 5'3", African-American with facial hair. And his officer badge number, as I believe he recited it on the video, again, it's 19020. He and all other five state actors, one of them dressed in civilian clothing, they're going to federal prison. Kevin McMahal, he's removed. He shall be removed from the position that he currently has. This criminal system is occurring on his watch. He is more than just derelict. He is corrupt, and that's why this system is occurring on his watch. The mayor of Las Vegas, corrupt. This criminal system is occurring in this state of California, in the state of California and in the state of Nevada. And the state actors, these corrupt actors, these leaders at the tops of these departments are corrupt, and they serve Satan as well. That's why this demonic system is occurring. That's how you get, by the way, a light source, which is not possibly the sun, literally remained over the top of my head and visible through the windows of my vehicle the entire route to Las Vegas, California. And as I captured all manner of laying the foundation for the prosecution of the state of Nevada, then the entity engaged in an exercise in fictitious authority. which was very foolish. If you are curious about how the pattern of conduct is underway by corrupt law enforcement agencies, that video that I captured is Exhibit A. And they're all going to federal prison, and the Metropolitan Police, you're talking about being upon documentation of federal group stalking and monitoring, that's the basis for disbanding. That is the basis for permanent removal for that department. Everybody that's on the force, they're corrupt, and that's removal from law enforcement. That's what's going to happen with regard to the criminal pattern of conduct. The entity is currently right now amplifying audible activity of helicopter while they're engaging in demonic pacing, and they're doing so while Kevin McMahal is being specifically identified as the corrupt government actor. He will be removed. He will be prosecuted as the terrorist that he is. This is domestic terrorism that's occurring in the state of Nevada. It is not exclusive to the state of California, like I stated in California, like I stated before. This terrorism is occurring. He is a terrorist, and he's a demon-possessed one, and this public corruption is occurring on his watch. He is not only derelict, he is disqualified based on his condition, and this criminal activity that's occurring based on the criminal conduct that I documented today, being subject to this terrorism and harassment as an entity while being subject to federal group stalking and monitoring, and the fictitious exercise under reasonable suspicion while you're group stalking as a police department. Okay, and claiming, let me document this third party, they're going to federal prison. Molesting with engineered light. License G285WN, P.O.C, and molesting again, they're going to federal prison. License plate F466PE, that's a Caucasian female with a Utah plate. They're molesting, crossing path in the parking lot at Courtyard by Marriott in Las Vegas while the entity is stalking in helicopters. They're going to federal prison while they're listening to what's going to happen to Kevin McMahal. This is a disqualified and a corrupt government leader. He's going to be removed. And the criminal conduct that I came to Nevada to capture is exactly what I captured. And he's permanently removed from that position. This is a public safety concern while he remains in that position. And he shall, like every other corrupt leader, going to be plucked out. Because this is why this system is underway as I go from state to state now, and you're looking at the pattern of conduct at a greater level, a macro level analysis is what this is providing. All right, it's currently 8:43 a.m. Those third parties are crossing paths on behalf of the state that's stalking in helicopters, and whether it's Channel 2 News or whether it is the demon-possessed and corrupted, nonetheless they're demons. Whether it's Channel 2 News or whether it's the demon-possessed government actor, a helicopter belonging, in other words, to the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. They're both demons, and they're both crossing paths. They're both group stalking. Using helicopters is a specific method designed to psychologically torture and harass and terrorize. You go to federal prison, period. Okay, that's what the entity was doing when they were engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring via a traffic stop when you're group stalking, okay, and engaged in federal stalking. Okay, so it is currently 8:44 p.m. I am at Courtyard by Marriott, and which is in between also Fairfield by Marriott. I didn't do that was there. It's currently 8:44 p.m. This is P.O.C. Okay, thank you.
Inserting that in here shortly.
Thank you.
Then make sure it matches
no
your
problem.
name.
And what's your name is Chance, right?
Like
okay. Are you the manager? It is. A lot of chance taking it, right? You're the manager here, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. The assistant general manager. Okay, good to know. So did you know what happened with regard to the ambulance?
Yes.
Did something happen? What happened?
That was between the privacy of the guest and the ambulance.
Oh, something happened with the. Oh, but something happened with the guest because I was saying I was just here.
Yes. Good to hear.
I just walked out and I saw the ambulance. I was just here. I just wondered if something happened within the last 30 seconds.
Oh no. The guy is called on his own self.
Oh, okay.
And
anyway.
Inserting your credit card right over here, please.
Okay. You want me to swipe it?
I will insert the card.
Okay. What time is it? Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Okay.
And have you been to this property before?
I have been, and I'm very familiar with the ways of Marriott, but not for this particular one in Las Vegas, but I see a lot of coincidences. You guys are engaged in a specific pattern.
So, floor number, entirety of your room number, connects to the Wi-Fi will be your last name and that room number. You will.
Okay.
It is the complimentary one. There is an enhanced one, but unless you are going to be doing hours upon hours of streaming, the regular will work.
Can I pay for that streaming right now? That's a nice ring.
Yes. You can, when you log on, it'll give you the option to do the enhanced. And so you'll select that, and it will put it directly over to the charge.
How much is the charge?
$4.95.
Oh, for the night or?
No, $129 is the room charge. The additional internet is $4.95 for the enhanced.
Yeah, for how much? Is that $4.95 for the night or for the?
For the night.
Oh, for the Wi-Fi. Yeah, I know you're not talking about the room.
Yes, the Wi-Fi. Yes.
Do you guys have breakfast here?
We do have breakfast down here. It's not included in the rate, but we do offer a breakfast barista starting at 6 a.m.
Okay, and what's the additional charge for that?
So it is order off the menu. So starting off like $12 up to $18, all depends on what you're looking for.
Oh, so it's not built into
No, it's not built in at all.
Okay,
It is the barista right
it's
here.
available to
so,
come in.
Yep, you'll be able to start at 6 a.m.
6 to 11.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then
Okay.
our pool, if you're interested in going, will be open until 10 p.m. this evening, and our barista is open tonight until 10 p.m.
You said the what? The barista?
Yes. So it's open right now. If you would like to order some food.
Okay.
If not within walking distance is In and Out, and within a little further area is Whiskey's.
Got it. Okay, thank you so much for your help.
You started it?
Documenting community ambulance. Again, I captured video of it, and you can see the multiple shadows. This is Federal Group Stalking and Monitoring, the sexually perverted aspect of the P.O.C. Sex offenders hurrying up to the scene while my genitalia is exposed to engage in Federal Group Stalking and Monitoring. The sex offenders that are EMTs who are demon-possessed, stalking in the path using their sirens and lights while someone's panties are down and they're going to federal prison. They're group stalking with Courtyard by Marriott, Fairfield by Marriott, and the people of the state, 9KVJ033, an African-American couple, group stalking in relevant position, and so are Marriott employees. And this is all while the entity is also stalking in helicopters. And this is sexual violence by Courtyard by Marriott. Remember, Courtyard by Marriott in Sherman Oaks is engaging in the pattern of conduct in Los Angeles, and there will be a sunrise over this venue as opposed to a sunrise with the Courtyard by Marriott in Sherman Oaks. This is the specific environment. Courtyard by Marriott is a violent sex offender and a terrorist acting with community ambulance, and they're going to federal prison not only because my body is being molested with engineered light, but because they're engaging in sexual violence. This is to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, corporate invasion of privacy, keeping somebody under surveillance while their genitalia is exposed, engaging in personal private activity in a private space at a facilitating venue, and doing so pursuant to a well-documented pattern of conduct that they are monitoring. Title 18 federal stalking is underway. This is the sexual violence I'm going to prosecute community ambulance for, and those two drivers who are captured, they're going to federal prison, and the entity is acting via the employee, the general manager, Chance, he's going to federal prison, and the employee, the African-American employee, she's going to federal prison. Okay, the employees of the venue are indeed facilitators. They are providing a crime scene for demons such as 9KVJ033 to openly engage in surveillance and federal stalking with them, and with state actors such as community ambulance. And again, their license plate is 610Y94. That's Nevada. That's P.O.C. They're violent sex offenders, and they're going to be prosecuted. They're going to federal prison for their engagement in sexual violence tonight. It is currently 9:04 p.m. I'm on surveillance cameras at the Marriott, Courtyard by Marriott. The tacky third party that works at the venue with green nails is group stalking and is being a sex offender as well, engaging in state surveillance while someone's panties are down. And they are doing so while I'm on surveillance cameras, so I just want to document that. I'm currently waving at the surveillance cameras in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is P.O.C. I have on pink and blue Levi's with flip-flops, and this is my documentation. I'm going to prosecute the state. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. All right, documenting the people of the state, including 9KVJ033, sex offenders that are monitoring with community ambulance and Chance and the other employees of Courtyard by Marriott. They engage in demonic methods of sexually violating you, and also they engage in demonic orgies, molesting you with engineered light. They like to keep you under surveillance while your panties are down as well. You're going to prosecute for this sexual violence that an entity of government practices. G68 8YK, that's Utah, 7KA9EG, Arizona, BQZU36, Colorado, TSX 8813, Texas, DLTW58, Colorado, DC06S28, that's paper, and that's California, D6116R3, California, CWW5168, Arizona, SWJ5493, Texas, 9BAJ497. Stalking in the path with light activity while the entity is stalking by helicopter. The employees are already going to federal prison. So just want to document. Relevant positioning is residence in by Marriott and Fairfield by Marriott in relevant position. FLO8377, that's Idaho. 9KHR420, and that's California. It is currently 9:07 p.m. That is sexual violence that a government that's keeping you under surveillance routinely engages in. Every place that you go to use the restroom, it is a matter of public information. Every bank that you are a patron at, it is a matter of public information. Every doctor's appointment where you're meeting with your physician, it is a matter of public information. Okay, the entity, every conversation that you have with that where you think it's in private, it's a matter of public information. Sexual violence is inherent to the P.O.C. and the state of California will be prosecuting prosecuted as the exceedingly violent sex offender that it is as a population. And what do the psychopaths, the mentally ill, engage in? Which Kevin McMahal is going to be prosecuted for, a domestic terrorist. This is occurring on his watch. He is a sex offender as well. Understand what the demon-possessed do is what Kevin McMahal engages in as a demon-possessed, corrupt government leader. That's why it's occurring. The demons that are affiliated with Community Ambulance, they're driving a third-party group stalker to the ambulance. That third party and those demons operating that ambulance are group stalking together. They're sex offenders engaging in the malicious pattern of conduct while together sexually violating an American citizen in Engineer Light while the legs are open, genitalia is exposed, panties are down, and doing so in that specific environment where a fake sun remained over me in Las Vegas. That's never the natural environment, and that's how you know what they all are. This entity engaged in criminal conduct arriving pursuant to an exercise of fictitious authority. All of those demons are going to federal prison, and Kevin McMahal is added to the names of corrupt government leaders who will be removed from their positions based on their disqualifying condition and the criminal activity that's happening on their watch because they serve Satan. Okay? It is currently 9:08 p.m. This is P.O.C. Just want to document the entity that's stalking in helicopter puts everybody in relevant position in federal prison. The entire Metropolitan Police Department / Sheriff's Department is going to be prosecuted. So they can brace themselves for a federal raid, first of all, and the people of the state are subject to federal prison. So I want you to hear this helicopter activity, because everyone's surrounded by evidence and everyone will be going to federal prison. Everyone is terrorizing an American citizen. Everyone will go to federal prison. Everyone. The entity engages in conduct such that you think that you will bully an American citizen. I'm here to let you know that is not going on anymore. You will go to federal prison. You have already lost your position in law enforcement. You're done. You're done. You are done. So I just want to be clear. It's 9:10 p.m. The entity engaging in heavy helicopter activity, stalking in the path at Holiday Inn Express in relevant position, stalking in the street with their vehicle lights, hazard lights on. They're stalking with the state that's stalking in helicopters. All of these venues have surveillance cameras. Whoever's working at Holiday Inn, at Fairfield Inn by Marriott, at Residence Inn by Marriott. The entity is engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring. Many people were engaging in monitoring me, surveilling me while I am in the bathroom with my panties down. That is an unfathomable level of a sex offense, and you have what is basis for federal prison based on that sex offense committed by government. That in and of itself. Then they add in stalking in helicopters, as though that's going to silence the documentation. That's going to enhance the prosecution. The people of the state, I just read their license plates. You're talking about the basis of federal prison. Okay? The entity is engaging in the P.O.C, and that's not going to be limited to Courtyard by Marriott. So Holiday Inn Express, you can check in, check out, you can go anywhere you want. Where you are, who you are is a matter of documentation, which is going to be produced at that. Okay? I guarantee you these businesses are going to produce it because they are facing time in federal prison for it. The entity will be facing time in federal prison the more that it engages in what is terrorizing an American citizen, stalking. You're stalking in the specific environment. The entity is engaged in a P.O.C, and the foundation is already laid before you foolishly engaged in a specific act, an affirmative act of harassment and terrorism while you're group stalking in a specific environment. You're all demons under a fake sun in the state of Nevada, and you engaged in abusing reasonable suspicion that you do not have, and then you're engaging in group stalking while my panties are down at a third-party facilitating venue. Everybody at that venue has a basis for federal prison. The employees are already going. The entity circling around in helicopter. The employees at Courtyard by Marriott are going to federal prison. It's currently 9:11 p.m. I'm going to continue to document crossing paths in the parking lot. Let me get this license plate, because they're going to federal prison. License plate. This is light activity. This is what Alvarado Gardens is doing while LAPD flies over all day, all night. Crossing paths, license plate 151ZPF, federal prison. That looks like an Asian male. Okay, that's P.O.C. That's a Nevada plate. It is currently, again, 9:12 p.m. The African-American couple whose license plate I read at the entrance of the Courtyard by Marriott, they're engaging in surveillance. It's remaining there at the doorway. That's openly engaging in surveillance. That's a basis of federal prison. They're going, okay? It is currently 9:12 p.m. P.O.C. This water is so good, oh my gosh. Alright, I'm gonna have to take this one. Another one too, but ow. Both have forks in it already. This later. Oh man, what did I put in here? Oh, dang it, I forgot something. I didn't, oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna find. It's hot as heck. he is a prick, but maybe not for that reason.